Shabbat shalom, everyone, and welcome to another segment here at BuildYisrael, Land Temple Kefarym. This is the first class of Shabbat, and we are live. For those that's tuning in right now, can you please, if you would, make sure you share and like, share this channel, share this live streaming, and make sure you like it. As we often say or often are told, that the lessons and the messages are profound or really touch the individual. If it has done that for you, please make sure you share it to your family, to your friends, to your social media friends, so they can get the same thing. All right. So this first portion of class, we're going to be speaking on what we're thankful for. We want to give honor and praise to the Most High on things pertaining to the month, to the week, to the day, whatever it might be. And we will share it and read it for those later. All right. Again, please share, please like, and we're going to get started. So for those that's looking in right now, please go ahead and let us know what you're thankful for. Know what you're thankful for. We will read it.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Looks like we're just having a few technical difficulties. If you all can just bear with us momentarily. And Nasik and Prince Kes will be on shortly. Salakli for the delay.
Well, I'm here.
Well, you're here? Okay.
Yes, I'm here. I was just finishing up my background work. I didn't know Nasik was having an issue. Okay, so let's go for it. What would you like to thank the Most High for?
Okay. You're very dark, too. We can't really see it.
See, that's what I mean. I was finishing up my stuff. But go ahead. I got it. I'm on my way.
All right. Shabbat shalom, Ima Sakari. Today, Most High, I am thankful, first and foremost, giving all honor, glory, and praise to the Creator for allowing me to be here today, for allowing me to be present, and for allowing me to have breath of life. I'm thankful to the Creator for my covering, my ish, and the powerful, I guess, blessing. It's not even a guess, but the blessing and the powerfulness of that covering, and being thankful for the Most High to allow him to be here as well. I'm thankful for our Beulah family, the familyhood that we are continuously building together, the bonding, the time that we are setting apart to build those bonds, not just as in the sisterhood, but the brotherhood, and as a whole with all of our children as well. I'm thankful for just this week of being productive, even when it seems that the world or certain people or presence of the world are trying to be against you. The Most High shows you other ways, and he always provides, as we have seen. Just thankful. Yesterday we had a beautiful time together as the Beulah family that's here. We went to like a little community park around the corner all together and just enjoyed ourselves. The brothers played basketball, and we took the children to the playground, and then we just sat around and talked as sisters with one another. So that was a blessing to bond in that way as well. And just praying that the Creator continues to be with each and every one of us, and that he's with all those that are at the sound of my voice, that can hear us at this time or watches us later. Shabbat shalom, and may the Most High be with you. Zelle.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
All right. Now, Sika, you like to thank the Most High at this time?
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Lakulam. I just want to give praise first to the Most High for life, for health, for strength. Um, for some of us, our weeks have been heavier than others, but nonetheless, we're grateful to the Most High. I'm grateful for the Most High allowing me and Aish to get off the plane safely to and fro to Texas. I'm not happy about the experiences that we had on the plane, but I do want to say that the Most High has been giving me strength to get better from whatever that experience was. Every time I get on the plane, I always look at it as an experience that just helps me with my life. Like there's a lesson every time I'm in the airplane. That life has its ups and downs and its tribulations, but whatever we go through, I know that the Most High is capable to bring us through it. And we also have to have the trust in Him, and just leaning on Him allows us to get through life. I'm grateful that we had a great time, especially like I said at the family park. It just really touched my heart because how our community has grown. It has truly been enlightening, and to see us be able to go to a park as a family and with the children, it just, even though it may seem simple, it was something that was very impactful in that moment. Playing with the children, everyone basically just being able to relax in the sun, and it was fun. Everybody, I believe, had fun. So that was something that was heartfelt, and I just looked at everybody's faces at that moment, and I saw smiles on everybody. So I'm grateful for that. Um, just grateful for the Most High keeping us, even for those that are part of the community that don't stay on the land. We always have a prayer. When me and like you should pray, we always say a prayer for those that don't currently live on the land, so that the Most High protect all of us and keep all of us, because we are definitely a unit. So
Right. Shabbat shalom. Now, seek you back. You want to take over, bro?
Shalom, shalom. Shalom, Prince, shalom, Princess. For those that's tuning in, if you haven't yet, please make sure you subscribe. Please make sure that you share to your social media platforms. And again, it's going to be a powerful lesson on this morning as well as this evening. So you want to make sure you're present both now and later. This is the portion where we give thanks and honor to the Most High Power, the eternal power, for what it is He has done for us and even what He has not done for us. All things are great. All things are needed from the Most High. So please, if you would, share it and we will read it. Zakena Sakari says, thankful for continued understanding of faith and belief through all of life's changes. Torah. Torah. If there is anyone else, please go ahead and we will read it. I'll go ahead and say what I'm thankful for. Okay. We have Morah Zakaria says, Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha. I am grateful for Abinu and his perfection in operation. I am grateful for his compassion and forgiveness. I am grateful for he is always with us and allows us to seek his face. All praises to the Most High. You're muted right now, Prince.
Oh, please forgive me. The said, "May Most High be praised." Torah.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go ahead as we wait on others to bring forth what they're thankful for. And thankful to the Most High for, I know I always say I'm grateful for peace, because that peace is normally or typically due to all of us always has some type of, or normally would have some type of resistance around us. You might have areas to where you have a peaceful location, a peaceful area, but outside of that area is chaos most times. And so, asking the Most High for peace is one of the things that, and dwelling in that peace is one of the things that helps me. But also am thankful for patience. Patience, because this is a big transition. For those of you that do know, I stayed in Illinois. I was in the Chicago area, and it's definitely different from being in the space that you're in now. A lot of us, we want this, we desire it to be on land, in the community, but we don't prepare ourselves a lot of times. Even though I did prepare myself, and those that's here, I'm pretty sure they prepared themselves, but sometimes it's not the same. It's a shift, and change is good. Change strengthens you and things of that nature. So I'm just happy and thankful for the patience and I sent a message to my children this morning, and I was telling my Isha, I said, hey, I'm going to make sure, because I always reach out to them every day. I talk to them every day, play games and stuff with them every day, or every other day at the least. And I told her, I said, I'm going to start sending messages, because a lot of us are privileged. Grown folks and children, we're privileged more than we believe we are. We are spoiled more than we believe we are. We're so used to what the city life does. We're so used to it. Those of you that's listening right now, you're so used to it, regardless if you disagree with me. And we are privileged. We're spoiled. We believe ourselves to be in this captivity, but yet we're still benefiting from it. So I sent a message and I said, always remember that you're blessed no matter what, because when they get older, have you ever noticed how people sometimes, the smallest pressure will cause them to go crazy, to start drinking like crazy, to start smoking like crazy? It could be something small to where we'll look at it like, really? And that's because we're privileged and we're spoiled. So I told them, remember that you're blessed to be able to be alive, to be able to have the opportunity for food and water, to be able to have clothes on your body. It does not matter fancy clothes. I'm talking about a t-shirt from Walmart. Just be thankful for that, because you got to be careful what you desire. Even if the desire that you have is righteous and it's for the long haul beneficial, but prepare your mind for a shift in your life that will have you challenge yourself and want to give up. Israel wanted to get out of that struggle with Mizraim, but as soon as they got out, they started complaining. They wanted to give up. To make it more realistic, Demona, it was about 300 people, I believe, that left the states, went straight to Liberia. They was going to Israel. About 300, 400 people. And it was only 120 of them, I believe, that decided to continue because of the pain they was going through, living in tents, all this other stuff they was living in. And they just couldn't handle it. The sugar and all that stuff that they was used to in the United States, they weren't getting it. It was married folks, married individuals that got divorced because some of the women went back. They couldn't take it. Men did too. So I'm using this example because be careful, realize that a shift happens when righteousness is needed. And you can care, but you can't care about the thought process of others that do not understand your path and your journey that the Most High is putting you in. You cannot care about it, even if you so used to, well, this is what I need to do. I know I need to do this. I know I have to do this. I know I used to do this, but the journey is different and the long haul is better, but you will go through things, y'all. So I'm grateful that the Most High has given me understanding and patience in that realm, in that subject, because it's been tough, and I'm sure it's going to be tough for anyone, but we got to come together and be there for one another to help that transition remain. We don't know what they went through, those of Demona. It was probably people trying to be there for one another and they just could not do it. But it's not for everybody. It's a remnant of a remnant. And to be that remnant of the remnant, you have to go through things. Shalom.
May the Most High be praised. That was a very wise and very intelligent statement. You got any more you can add to it, bro? You can always add. You know, you ain't got to rush to do nothing. That was beautiful and very encouraging, very inspiring. And I pray that they understood and heard the message. I'm going to give it back to you now, bro, because there's some more things that people are posting. Total Rabbi. May the Most High be praised.
Toda. Princess says, a remnant of a remnant. Sacrifice is truly not easy for everyone. Aim Kater. Cecilia says, Shabbat Shalom, family. Aim Kater here. I'm thankful to the Most High for life and health and for the opportunity to use my limbs to perform the routine activities of life. Kabir Autumn says, I am most definitely grateful for the Most High allowing this to be my last week of work. This week in particular was stressful on my body. Now I have one thing off my plate. I'm also thankful for witnessing a sprinkling for the first time conducted by my Ish with some of the family members. My first time seeing it.
May the Most High be praised. Total Rabbi. For everyone, may the Most High be praised. So much to add to the situation. I saw a few more up there earlier, I believe.
Kane, I don't think Nasi can see the video, the camera. I mean, what I'm posting. So, Brother Yahoo says his video's not working. Brother Yahoo,
Bros, can you all hear me?
we can hear you. Can you? I posted Brother Yahoo. You want to read it?
Can you see the screen, Nasi? Nasi?
He's having technical difficulties.
All right, go ahead and take it. What do you think?
So Brother Yahoo says, Shabbat Shalom Mishpaka from the house of Yahoo, thankful to the Creator for family and peace of mind, brotherhood, sisterhood, being formed purely. Thankful to the Most High for allowing us all to see another Shabbat day. And then he says, thankful for righteous leadership.
May the Most High be praised. Total Rabbi. May the Most High be praised.
And then, Zakwina Sukari says, I miss the buses and sidewalks, even that will not change the joy of being present here and now.
May the Most High be praised. Total Rabbi.
Can I add to my thankful?
Okay.
So I'm always thankful. This year, we only get to see my little sister who lives in South Africa once a year. And so she came down the week of Pesach, Kakmatso. So I was able to see her the day before she left. We spent a whole day together, bowling and just having a good time. And she never had her ear pierced. So she was like, please, she calls me Fufu. But so she was like, please, Fufu, can you pierce my ears? So I pierced her ears and she was just so happy. And during the time that she come, she always goes shop. She stays with me and my brothers like on and off. And so she was with my brother this time. But she kept saying, when I see you, I need you to take me to go get certain things from the store. So we went and did that after we spent the day together. And it just really warmed my heart. And, just trying not to even be emotional about it. But she's 16. And so she was just like, I love you so much. You're such a great big sister to me. And, it's a beautiful thing to, even though we're 30 years apart, we still are able to bond in a way. And it's even more joy to my heart because her and my youngest daughter, who's 15, are like best friends. Like, even though they're aunt and niece, in public, they tell people they're cousins or sisters because they're just 11 months apart. And, but I'm just thankful that she made it here to the United States and made it back to Africa safely. And I'm just thankful that, even with all of the distance, and her being the youngest of all of us as siblings, when she comes, we all come together and just spend a good time with her. so that she understands that we love her no matter how far she is. So I'm thankful for that. And yeah, can't wait to see her again in another year, unless I go to South Africa.
May the Most High be praised. Praise be to the King. All right, my acknowledgments and my thanks to the Creator is going to be a little bit different today. We got a lot to be thankful for. A whole lot. And there's so much that I want to tell y'all about what happened through this week. I shared with the brothers the other day one of my situations, and I'll share it with you too first. I want to speak about, this morning I sent out some invites to my family, different people, just all through my page. Some people responded. Most people don't respond, they just tune in. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But I had someone responded to me today, a cousin of mine. And she may be here on the live listening. I pray that she is. But one of her issues was that she says we have different faiths. And by us having different faiths, from what I got from the body of the message, it caused us to believe that we have a separation in our relationship. And I'm saying this, and I'm thanking the Creator for her message today, because it showed me what I needed to speak on for the first part of our class today, and that's what I'm doing right now. We have so many different religious understandings in this walk, in this way of life, in this life that we live. So many of us with different backgrounds, we call on different powers, and we do this because we're all grown. And a lot of us have been taught this from our youth by society, or however you got it, is not where I'm dealing with right now. But the point that I need to deal with is that this is destroying us. It's holding us back. Religious beliefs destroy families. It destroys bonds. It destroys marriages. Now, Sikh spoke a little bit about that earlier when he talked about the people who traveled from Chicago to Liberia. And a lot of them couldn't take it, so they left. And a lot of them, family households split up. Family, this is what I need you to know. Because I've heard this story so many times from so many people, and my cousin's response to me just triggered it in my mind. There are people that we have in our communities today that have separated from their very mothers and fathers because of their differences in religion. Religion destroys us. She used the word faith, so I'll use the word faith just for the understanding and presenting it to the family. We allow what we call faith or our walk of life to separate us from our physical, biological families because of these differences. And I'm saying, I'm proposing to you, and I'm asking and pleading and begging with you that you do not allow this to be. It doesn't matter what your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your cousin believes in. None of that matters. Family is extremely important. Grab them, hold on to them, whatever you can do to help them. If you got to cry with them, cry with them. If you got to sacrifice with them, sacrifice with them. But you will get a lot of imposters who will come in this world and tell you, well, if you don't believe as I believe, you got to go. No, that ain't what the Most High is about. If you read the scriptures correctly, the only time you were supposed to separate from those people who have a different understanding was in your worship to the Creator. That was it. Think about it. When we left Egypt, a mixed multitude came out with us. They didn't worship the Most High. They didn't even understand the Creator. But they came right with us, and the Most High never said, get them out. We got a lot of teachers today that put in our minds that if your family disagrees with you on your religious principles or your faith principles, that you don't deal with them. And that's not what we're supposed to do. And I've been hearing these stories for years about people who are separating from their biological family. Now, your friends, so-called friends, that's iffy. That's your decision totally. But your biological family has to remain intact. One of my best brothers is my uncle, Uncle Rahim. And he Muslim, completely Muslim. I mean, he Muslim. That's where he at. So, but when we have events and holy days, Uncle Rahim comes. He helps out. He makes sure we got what we need. If he knows anything is going on the land, Uncle Rahim is, yo, you need that? All right, let's see if I can find this for you. He works as if he's working for himself. And the reason is because Uncle Rahim hasn't forgotten about what family means. Family supersedes religion. Now, you don't have to eat their food because you're their family and they're in a different religious persuasion and they offer up their foods to their deities. That's different, but you don't break that family bond. We have to understand that. We have to understand that because so many of us, oh, I'm New Testament. I can't be a part of what y'all doing. No, you can. Because if you believed in Jesus, right? And Jesus believed in the Creator, and Jesus prayed to the Creator, then you can deal with us because that's what we pray to. The same individual that Jesus prayed to, we pray to. So this has nothing to do with religion. This is everything about the principles of worshiping the Creator, the power of all energy, all source, and all life. The same power that Jesus prayed to is who we pray to. The Creator of all creation, the Master. See, we might speak in a different tongue, different times, and say different things, but you know what we're doing? We're speaking in the language that Jesus spoke in. Hebrew and Aramaic. We're speaking that language. So when you hear us say certain things that you're not familiar with, research the word. Ask a question in the room. Just find out what we're talking about. Because your salvation that you talk about, that you believe in, could be needed and necessary in the teachings that you spend that 15, 20 minutes on this live. It could resolve all the questions that you had in your spirit. I'm not trying to change anybody's religion. I'm just trying to teach our people about the Almighty. That's it. If you Christian, you Christian. You want to stay Christian? Stay Christian. If you Muslim, you Muslim. You want to stay Muslim? Stay Muslim. Those things are not important to me because it's not my job to convert anyone. Neither have I taken it in my power to convert anyone. But it is my job to teach the word of the Almighty. And if by that it can help you, then so be it. It'll help you. If it doesn't help, then so be it. If I teach you one little thing that you did not know, then your time that you spent here was needed and necessary. May the Most High be praised in all things because he's the king of all creation. If you call yourself Buddhist, it doesn't matter because in Buddhism, as far as I understand, they worship the Creator. They try and they make their attempts to worship the Creator. Vishnu and all those people, you know, they were the highlighted ones, but they worshiped the true power, the source and energy of all things. They did it slightly different, but they did that according to what they understood they were doing. Muhammad worshiped the Creator in the best of his ability. There's a whole lot of little intricacies in these things that we can deal with, but let's be real, family. And beyond all doubt, there isn't but one Creator, one. And we, as man, get confused and mixed up and start throwing it all around the place and making all types of things. It doesn't matter. We are here to worship the Almighty, but in this day, we are here to teach of the Creator. The possibilities of you learning of him is astronomical when you tune in and just listen. But if you don't tune in, there's a lot of things you could be missing out on your life. But we don't just deal with worship of the Creator. We deal with education, like for the body, things that are needed for health, things that are needed for the mental growth of your mind so that you can become on the highest level of self that you've ever been. Don't keep thinking this is about religion, because it's not about religion. Soon as I mention Bible, Torah, first thing you think is religion. And that's not where we're coming from, because we're not religious people. We are teaching the oneness of the Almighty, the worship, the honor, the praise, the serve, but we are also teaching, even in the midst of that, self-improvement, self-development, self-help, love, family, friendship, brotherhood, truth, righteousness, integrity, honor. We're teaching all those principles. Humility. We're teaching all those principles. So if we start talking about you should pray this way and you don't want to hear that, then you don't have to accept that. But you'll be missing out on so much more if you close us out just because we have what you understand as different faiths. So that's not where we're coming from, family. We want to help our people to be the very best that we can possibly be. I love my people. And y'all know I don't use the word love, but I love my people in sincerity through my actions. Not with a whole bunch of lip service, but through my actions. So let's get back to where I was talking about earlier when I was speaking about something that happened this week that I wanted to thank the Creator for. Y'all know we do construction work. We build houses and we do all types of things like that. So if y'all need a house built, y'all call us and we see what we can do to help out. But it's a project that we're working on in the Germantown area of Philadelphia, where we had to take down 2 roofs, the front of these people's house, 2 roofs, and we had to do a bathroom inside the back. Anybody on my Facebook, I'll probably share it another time, but I haven't done it yet. So when we had all this trash outside on the sidewalk, we had to have the trash truck to come around and pay the trash truck to pick up the trash. And this is still me thanking the Creator, y'all. So please bear with me and walk with me, because it's going to be something very important here. So we had to pay the trash truck to take the trash off the block. Now, at the time, the trash truck happened to be there as soon as I pulled up to the job. So when I was coming up the street, the trash truck was backing down the street. And there was a car that was blocking the trash truck's entry so he couldn't get in front of the trash. So I asked my workers, I said, do you know whose car this? They said, I think it's that guy in that house right there. So the trash truck can get entry, I had to go up and knock on the guy's door. The guy may be here in the room today. He may be here. So he can attest to everything that I'm saying. So when I go, I walk up these steps, it's a lot of steps, walk up the steps, and I knock on the door and I ring the bell just in case the door didn't work. Just in case the bell didn't work, I knocked on the door too. And I was waiting for someone to come to the door. Well, when someone came to the door, they came to the door. They didn't just come to the door and say, yes, may I help you? This guy must be about 300, got to be every bit of 325 pounds. If I'm wrong and you here, bro, you can correct me. That brother was at least about 3.25, somewhere around that. At least 6'2". He stood over top of me a little bit. I was like, whoa, okay. 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2". So he was taller than me, that I know. He was way bigger than me. But when he came to the door, he came to the door. What the fuck you want? Why you at my motherfucker? Oh, he was going off. I mean, like fire. And here I am, 190 pounds, 200 pounds maybe, standing there on the porch. And I'm looking at this guy with all this screaming and hollering and emotion, blazing like, yo, like he ready to hurt me, do something to me, destroy me, come down on me and drop the bomb, chop my head off, beat me down to a pulp. I don't know what his intentions were, but the aggression that he had in his spirit was to that level. And I'm standing here watching this man right in front of me come off with all this fire and venom. And I said to the man, I apologize. I did not mean to come to your door to upset you. It's not why I'm here. I just need you to move your car so that the trash truck can come down the street and pick up the trash. Well, that wasn't enough. He still went off some more. So I'm standing there, I'm looking at this brother's hands like this here. Because if he swing his hands, then the whole situation go in a different direction. Completely different direction. I mean, you can only imagine what would have happened. We don't know for sure, but I'm sure something would have happened. It wouldn't have ended there. So this brother with all this anger and venom and fire looks down at my necklace, and for some reason my Magen David was showing through my shirt. And when he did that, it's like he stopped and his whole spirit changed. And I said, bro, I'm only here for the purpose of asking you to move your car. I apologize. Please forgive me if I've done anything to upset you and to disrupt your home. All I need you to do is move your vehicle. Can you do that for me, please? He says this little stuff that he says. I don't remember exactly what happened after that in detail. He says his little stuff. He walks in the house like he's getting his keys. So I go down the steps. He comes out. He moves his car. So the trash truck comes, take all the trash away, and they leave. So I go back across the street, and I do my work. I deal with my work that I got to deal with the workers. So while I was coming out the house we working on, the spirit hit me, and the spirit said to me, a spirit, the creative spirit, you know how they go. He said to me, Prince, go over there and make this brother understand that you didn't mean any disrespect. No disrespect that you mean. The only thing you meant was to have him to come out and move his car so you can do the work. So the trash truck can move, get the trash, and be gone. So I thought to myself, if you was with me in a couple classes ago, I taught about one day I was in my truck and I had just left a house that I had with one of my Nashim, an ex-Nashim. This happened in 2006, somewhere around there. And I pulled up around the corner and she had these two dudes laying on the floor, her brother and her brother's friend, and they both was faggots. And I felt like something was wrong in that situation, as if they were being disrespectful because they in my house laying on my floor. That wasn't cool. And her and I had an argument upstairs. So anyway, I left, got in my truck, and I drive up the street, but I pulls over. And I'm having a whole conversation with the creator about why did I let them dudes just lay on my floor? Why they disrespecting me? This can't happen. I got to put them out. They got to get out of my house. Because I had the argument with her upstairs. And this goes back 2006. It was a long time ago, almost 20 years ago. So I'm sitting in the car and the creator says to me, nah, don't go back. And I said, no, man, I can't let these dudes just disrespect me like this. This is my house. The creator said, don't go back. I said, I'm going to get this. This is going to happen. They ain't going to just be disrespecting me like that. So I walked back down the street. I drove back around the corner. I get out my car. I walk up to the porch. And before I knocked on the door, I got keys. I have keys to the house. But before I knocked on the door, I just stood there and listened. And I heard this woman who's supposed to be my wife inside the building saying, y'all just let him jump, disrespect me like that and talk like that about me. And you ain't going to do nothing about it. Y'all some chumps. Y'all some chumps. Y'all should have kicked his motherfucker. I heard all that stuff. So I said, oh, no, I got to knock on this door. Somebody going to do something to me? Oh, we going to see. Yeah, so I was ready. So eventually, I knocked on the door. And when I knocked on the door, somebody come to the door. Who is it? Now I got a peephole. They know who I am. Who is it? And the situation took off from there. I ended up getting arrested. I shot one person, stabbed the other person. I ended up getting arrested. They took me to jail. I beat the case, but I ended up getting arrested. It's just all the aggravation that I went through. It's cool. So now I fast forwarded to today. My problem back then in 2006 when I got arrested was from ego. The Creator was dealing with me and my ego at that time. And I didn't understand it. That's me wrestling in the car, going back and forth when the Creator told me not to go, and I still wanted to go, and I still went. I didn't realize that that was my ego telling me to go and go. So now, here we are in current time. I'm coming out that house, and this guy, in my mind, he probably felt like he just threatened or scared somebody or was tough with somebody, some little punk or, you know, chump. But that's not my spirit. In my mind, that may be how he felt. But I needed to let him know that there was no aggression in my attitude. There was no aggression in my voice. And I did not mean to disrespect his home. That was the only thing that I wanted to set in place. Whatever he may have been thinking in his mind, I don't know. But I know he was very, very aggressive, very, very threatening. And like I explained, had that been just 10 years ago or 15 years ago, we would have had a completely different outcome. But it didn't go that way because I'm not who I was. I'm not who I used to be. And I do everything I can possibly do to walk with the right spirit. So I get my mind fixed now. That last situation of 2006 crossed my mind, and I had to check myself to make sure that that's not the reason why I'm going to this man's house after what I just experienced and got away with my life and nobody had to die. I got away with all that, so nothing had to happen. So to go back would be like a form of instigating something for something to happen. But the Creator told me to go back. And I'm going to do what the Creator told me to do, no matter what I think. So now in my mind, it was like, I'm wrestling with my mind because of what happened in 2006. I had to make sure that this wasn't no ego thing. I'm not going back for no ego. It can't be that. And it's not that. I said, this is the reason. I understood why you're telling me, and this is what I'm doing. That's the reason why I'm going back. So I go back to the brother's house. Trash is gone. Sidewalk cleaned up. There's no reason to be knocking on my door now. So I go to the guy's house and I knock on the guy's door. He may be here in the audience. Oh, there you go. He's there. So he can test to everything that I'm saying. He's here in the audience. He knows it's the truth. I go back across the street and I go to the brother's house. I knock on the door. He comes back out with a little less aggression, but still aggressive. And he says, yo, bro, I'm going to tell you this right now. The only reason why I didn't was because I saw that on your chest. And he said something about, and I believe in the Most High. And I honor the Most High. Some kind of way, he said something in that area. And I was like, okay, I understand. What I need to tell you and what I need to explain to you is my reasons. I did not mean to, I must apologize like 3-4 times. But I ain't finished the story yet. Because this, to me, was a powerful thing. And my brother Azante brought it to my brought it to my attention that the same thing happened to him just a few months ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So let me finish. So the brother comes to the door. He said, the only reason why I did that because I honor the Most High. I saw that piece on your chest. My stuff is usually tucked like this when I'm out working because I don't want to mess it up. Don't want to snag it. But I had on a sweater. And the sweater, for some reason, had it outside before I approached the brother. Before I went to ask him about it. I didn't know it was out. So when he said that, he came back to the door. He realized it was me again. His whole attitude was just on a different level. Different level. And he said to me, I wish I could invite him in because he can speak his own part about what he understood and what he got out of what took place. And then it'll be so much more powerful. If you're willing to come in, bro, let me know and I'll send you an invite. So we get on the steps. He comes back out. We start talking. And he says, man, I think you were sent here by the Creator. I said, well, what you mean? He says, well, I was going through a little something situation in my home. And when you knocked on the door, it pulled me away from that. And it gave me the opportunity to calm down. My whole mind state changed. And then when I spoke to you in such the way that I spoke, the way that you responded back to me brought me some peace. Had I met him with aggression, it would have been something horrible. I mean, it would have something. It was just that type of energy. It was just that. That's what was going on. Craziness. But because I responded, these are his words that I remember. Because I responded to him in a manner that I did, the way that I responded just killed all that negativity and brought that brother to a peaceful state. And he was like, yo, I apologize. I was wrong. I mean, he must have apologized a good 8, 9, 10 times maybe, making the situation right. But it was already right once the brother stopped with all that other stuff. He didn't need to apologize, but he did. So I was out on the steps sitting out there with my brother, one of the workers. And the brother was in his house, came out of his house with his daughter in his arms. Beautiful little girl. Came out of the house with his daughter in his arms. Came out of the house with his daughter in his arms. And started a conversation. He started telling me about his life, what he's gone through, the different changes, the things that provoked him to be aggressive at that moment. And had it not been for my attitude, it would have been ugly that day when he came to that door. Man, listen, brother almost had me in tears. He almost had me wanting to sit up there and shed a few. I can't properly express the words that he put out to me, but he touched my heart when he did. He touched my heart, changed the whole day. Matter of fact, he changed the week. I couldn't wait to get here to tell you all about what took place. I couldn't wait to get here. It was so powerful. And the brother just kept speaking over and over and over, expressing what he heard, what he felt, what he understood. So much that we exchanged numbers. I gave him my number, he gave me his number, and we left it at that. A little while later, he hits me up and he says, yo, bro, I want to learn. I want to know what you talking, what you teaching, and what you living. See, now, why is this important? It's important because one thing scripture says is that, and I'm still thanking the Creator, y'all, because I didn't have to be here today. I could have been gone. Things might not have went in my favor. You know, we always think we got the upper hand and because, you know, I'm always ready for danger. But we always think we got the upper hand. Even him, he thought he had the upper hand in his situation. Probably didn't even matter. But I'm sure that's what he thought because he's so big and I'm so little compared to him. That's probably what he thought. But we always think we got the upper hand in situations. Don't mean a thing. Only the Most High knows what the outcome of a matter is going to be. Even if you prepare for a situation and the Most High got something else in mind, He gonna make that happen. He gonna have His way over your choice or whatever you desire for it to be if it's not in His plan. So I'm so thankful that the Most High sent me there, and I'm so thankful that I was mature enough in my spirit to know not to meet aggression with aggression when it's not necessary, because that wasn't necessary. What was needed was exactly what took place. And I wish I had a lot more to offer the brother. I really do. I wish I had a lot more to offer him, but I don't. I'm offering him everything that I have to offer. And that is, I'll sit down and make myself available for that brother whenever he needs. Whatever I can give, whatever I can provide, I will give and I will provide and I will do. Thus far, he's asking me to teach. So I'm going to do what I do. And y'all know what I do is teach. So I'm going to do that. But all of this took place, and I'm sharing this information with you all because I want you to know that every one of us have a job to do in this life. And your job is to help somebody else to build a better relationship with the Creator, no matter what their religion is. No matter what their religion is. You don't have to go and enter into these situations and try to change people. That's not what you're focused on. Your focus is to teach them and elevate them mentally, spiritually, and emotionally so that they can be the best version of themselves. And if a person arises to the best version of themselves, that automatically gives them the opportunity to realize their mistakes that they may be making or may have made, or the improvements that you may have brought into their lives. And that's what we have to begin to focus on, because that is the vital point. I'm grateful and I'm thankful to the Creator that He allowed me the opportunity to meet the brother and meet him in the manner that I did. He's a big guy. And to the average person, he will intimidate you just by walking down the street next to you. He's big guy, big, thick guy. And you got a long hair too, and a full beard. So y'all know what they feel about us with the beards, right? But he got a real beard. I got a little scraggly beard. You see the little stuff I got? He got a full beard and a lot of hair. So he would be intimidating to a lot of people. But a lot of people wouldn't give him the opportunity to be who he is, because it takes a lot. I'm going to tell you, and I got to say this, it takes a lot for a man to humble himself before another man and say, bro, I was wrong, and I apologize. Not just once, not just twice, not 3 times, but maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 times he apologized. How could I resist that? How could I not say, how could I not recognize that how much it took for that man who was just ready to try to beat me into a pulp to now say, yo, bro, I was wrong, and I apologize. You don't get that type of attitude from regular people. If he was just a regular dude, he would know he was wrong, but he would eat it. He'll walk away and he'll eat it. So that shows me that the energy that possesses that man is something on a higher quality of level of decency of a man. Not a lot of people can deal with that. Not a lot of people can face their demons and admit when they're wrong. Even a lot of people in this walk will not admit that they're wrong when they're wrong. What they will do, they might change their behavior a little bit, but they won't come up to you and make it right. That brother had no problem with correcting himself. None. He corrected himself to the point where he went and got his daughter and brought his daughter out. That was what? A symbol of peace. Why would I bring my daughter out in the midst of commotion? A little baby, about 1, maybe 2. You follow what I'm saying? Beautiful, man. So I'm telling you today, before all the family, you need me, you reach out to me. If there's anything I can do, I'm doing it. Whatever it is. If I can help, I'm helping. You got that. And I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of integrity. And I hold myself true to my word. That's how I live. So I thank you. So family, that's where it's at. I'm grateful to the Most High for that experience this week. It was like a rejuvenation. You know what I mean? It was like restating to me the purpose that we do what we do. And I thank the Creator for that opportunity. So may the Most High be praised. Toda Rabah.
All right, we got a few different comments. I'm gonna go down from the very last one I saw, or the first one I saw, and that's Gaber Autumn. She said, can you clarify that part when you said the only time you separate is when it comes to the worship of the Creator? Paraphrasing your words, forgive me.
Yeah, I thought I put it in there when I was speaking. I don't eat their food. It wouldn't be good for you to eat the food that's sacrificed to people from people who worship entities and deities. Some people worship their ancestors. Some people worship Yeshua. Some people worship Satan. Some people worship all types of things. If I go into a restaurant and that restaurant is displaying statues of Buddha, I won't eat in that restaurant. I'll leave. I'll take my money and go somewhere else. You don't mention the name of these deities when you're worshiping the Most High. You don't do that. So this is what I mean by you separate yourself in these orders. If somebody has a funeral and it's in a church, I'll go to the funeral at the church and I'll just watch them as they're doing whatever they're doing. If somebody has a funeral in a masjid, I will go to a funeral in a masjid and I will watch them as they're doing what they're doing. But I'll still maintain my understandings of not touching a dead body, not going to the grave site, walking on the grave site, and things of that nature. But I don't allow religion to separate me from family, because religion is man-made. Religion is a device that the adversary used to further separate us as a people. We got a lot of people that are Hebrew Israelites, Torah-centered, who don't associate with other Israelites because one believes that the day starts in sunrise. So if an Israelite believes that the Shabbat starts when the sun goes up, and another Israelite believes that the Shabbat starts when the sun goes down on Friday night, them two don't want to associate with each other. Therefore, it weakens our bond as a people. Therefore, the adversarial energy has been successful at planting separation in the midst of a powerful people. We are more powerful together than we are divided. We have not understood that yet. I understand. Therefore, I don't walk with division. When things are needed and necessary, we must be able to call on each other with a like mind and a like cause to get things accomplished. Meaning, if it's dangerous to me and it's dangerous to you, that's a like mind and a like cause. If it's going to destroy me and it's going to eventually destroy, it might not be in your block right now, but it's going to be on your block next week. So let's prevent it from even getting past my block so it doesn't have the opportunity to destroy your block. That's where we as a people have fallen off. We don't understand how needed we are in the lives of each other. And if we did, we wouldn't have all the problems and situations we have within our people. So I pray that answers your question, Ishi.
Ima Nafshia here. I would like to share what I am thankful and grateful for. I'm not sure if she said something later. But if you haven't said anything later, Ima Nafshia, please go ahead and let us know what you're thankful for, and we will read it before the people.
Ima Nafshia is Ima Rofa. And she is the midwife. She's my spiritual mother. And she's the midwife who's about to deliver my baby, who's about to be due any day now. We don't know when, but they say May 2nd, but it could come sooner. So that's her. She's here. And we're happy to have you here with us, Ima. May the Most High be praised.
The bear always says, wow, the Creator works in mysterious ways, taught out for all his anointings. I think she was responding to what you was bringing up.
Yeah, may the Most High be praised.
I already shared this. It's the brother right now. Real big in the picture.
Oh, yeah.
The Bear Sharon says, right, aggression to aggression never turns out right.
Never. Even in the household, it doesn't turn out right. Even between a husband and a wife, a child and a parent, a child and a child, aggression, even in a household, never turns out right. Read on, please. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Uncle Shadea says, there's righteousness in resolution.
Absolutely. May the Most High be praised.
Gaber Higdaya says, I am so thankful for the example I have found for a proper daughter of Zion, and servant of Yah and Princess BuildYisrael. I call her Malka Agadol because she surpasses all. My inspiration.
Oh, ain't that nice? May the Most High be praised.
I'm gonna keep going down. And they're just commenting with one another. Yaakov Taraya says a soft word turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And there's wisdom in that. May the Most High be praised. There's much, much wisdom in that.
And Katab says humility is the boss. All praises to the Most High. And that concludes the comments in regards to the things that said.
May the Most High be praised. Absolutely right. I thought I saw someone give their thanks to the Creator a little earlier, and I don't think we addressed it. I could be mistaken, but I thought that's what I saw.
Scrolling up to see. Yeah, I don't see.
All right. So yes, this week has been an amazing week, truly amazing, and I feel the energy in the atmosphere. You know, I feel the energy that the Father's releasing to us. How He's bringing us back to our fullness. He's bringing back them family ties and family bonds and all those things. He's causing it all to make sense. So, like I started off, family, it don't matter what your religion is, because it's not about that. We got to come together no matter what. We got to help each other no matter what. If we don't, then our whole civilization, all of our people of color, will be destroyed. And that will be the first time in history that it ever happened. As we're about to read in the story of Exodus, it starts talking about how the oppressor had made a plan to destroy all the men in Israel. Well, we already know that they got a plan out here to destroy all the men. The story in the book of Exodus is very much like the story of today's time that we're going through today. And in the story of the book of Exodus, they was waiting for their Exodus to take place, and so are we in today's time, waiting for our Exodus to take place. In the story of Exodus, they had their own city, a city called Goshen, and so do we. We have our city. It's called Beulah. You know, we're doing our very best to prepare for what the Most High has in store for us. In the story of Exodus, they sought all types of things to try to destroy our people, but they started by trying to destroy the man. And here today, they're doing exactly that, waging war against the man. Why aren't they trying to destroy the woman as hard? Not that they're not trying to destroy the woman, but why are they not trying to destroy the woman as hard as they can with the man? The reason is because the Europeans or the oppressors, I don't even want to say Europeans, because they're not all European. The oppressors understand that if they leave the woman behind, they can always mate with the women, and the women will produce them all over again. They understand that. There's too many of us that don't understand that. They can always mate with the women and reproduce themselves. It might take a couple generations to get all of that dominant seed out, but they can do that. Now, if our men were to mate with their women, we're reproducing ourselves. And it's already too many. It's already too many of us in their eyes, too many of us that are here today. So this is why they wage war against us. Why do they wage war? Let me tell you this part right here. This is why they made so many males homosexual today. This is why they promote homosexuality, so that the man will become effeminized and won't stand up like a man and defend himself. Therefore, the best thing they can do is make you feminine in your mind. And that's what they've done. They can have you still in their communities, in their households, in their workforce in society to help their society be productive. Like they can have you working at their supermarkets, their grocery stores, their business offices. And if you look, that's where most of them are working at. That's where most of them are working at. They're not really doing masculine jobs. They're doing feminine jobs, jobs women usually do or could do. They're not bricklayers. They're not electricians. I'm talking about on a majority level. They're not carpenters. They're not doing main physical work because they're too delicate. They don't want to break their fingernails. They have effeminized us. So therefore, those are the same people that's not going to go out to war with them. You don't see no homosexuals going to war and waging war about what the adversarial energies are doing to us. That's not going to happen. Can you imagine if Malcolm X was a homo? Can you imagine what it would have been like? Marcus Garvey, if he was a homo, what it would have been like? These are men, and they are men, and they stand up for the people. They try to effeminate us so that we won't stand up, so that we won't want to fight. We don't want to take on the struggle. But that's where a lot of us miss the point and drop the ball. We have to understand that we are at war right now. Right now, we are at war. And we don't have time to be playing video games, drinking alcohol, and smoking weed. Anything that's going to take our minds in a different space Because any moment, all hell could break loose. And when all hell break loose, you have to be ready for that. So we don't promote drinking. We don't promote smoking. We don't promote all these video games and all these activities that's just taking your mind somewhere else. And when I say video games take your mind somewhere, they do. Research the study of what those video games do to your mind psychologically. Do the research and see what they do to you. There are little children. I've seen a documentary on little children who their parents would give them the computers to play with, iPads and video games to play with all the time. But when it's time to go to bed, it's time to eat, when it's time to do something else, you take that video game from that child becomes very, very aggressive. Very, very aggressive. Busting down, kicking, screaming, cussing, hollering, busting up, breaking up. A little child. And that's what they do. That's what they do. Because something is taking place in their minds through the activity of these little iPad, these video games, all this stuff that the children are doing. There is no reason for a 2, 3, 5-year-old to be on a video game on an iPad and got their own video game on iPad. Some of them got their own phone. Some of them know how to work the phone better than we do. But the parents, because the parents is not in the right state of mind, the parents allow that to happen. So a lot of us who are here today, I'm not judging you. I'm just warning you, trying to prepare you for what the war that they're waging against us. And it starts with our youth. Ima, you want to say something?
Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. I did. I wanted to say something to Higdalia's comment. First, foremost, all praises to the Creator for her comment. I humbly appreciate her words. And, one thing I always let people know, and I'm always transparent about, is I'm not perfect as a woman, as a wife, as a mother. But I know that the Creator has placed me in a position to be a role model or a model in so many ways. So I accept, her comments. But just, for my sisters, and Zakaria said it too, my inspiration comes from them, to see younger sisters come into this walk, and I see what they do. It inspires me to be better. It inspires me to wake up every morning and to be a better example than I was the day before. So I don't take those words and let my head get big and things like that, because it just humbles me even more to show, it allows me, honestly, it shows me that the Creator is consistently reminding me of what I have to do and who I am, and not to slack on it. And when I slack, He definitely corrects me swiftly. Like, I feel it in so many ways that most people would never know. So I am thankful for that. And I pray that, He continues to show me when I mess up, show me when, when I'm not being that inspiration. And I pray that, my sisters here and my spiritual daughters, if I am not being an inspiration, that they pull me aside and show me so that I can correct myself. And it made me think about a conversation with a sister who didn't even know if things were going on personally in my life, but, she needed advice. And as I was giving her advice, it helped me to even see clearly on certain things that I was dealing with personally as well. So sometimes we seek others for advice, but sometimes that advice comes, or that person that comes at the time when you need them as well. So Toda Rabah for that acknowledgement, and all praises to the Creator, most importantly. Shalom.
All right. May the Most High be praised. That's all you wanted to say, Ima? Because I knew you'd be having a whole lot stored up.
I don't have a lot, but it was one thing I did.
I knew it.
I was out yesterday doing a lot of errands, and as I was driving, I saw a car accident in my head, but I just prayed to the Creator, to continue to protect me as I'm driving. And then when I went to pick up the sister, because I had to take her somewhere and then go do everything. When we turned the corner we were maybe 20 minutes from the land at this point, 20 minutes from home. When we turned the corner, as it was 2 cars ahead of us, and that car that went, the first car ahead of us that went, got into an accident, head on. And we were both like, what in the world? And we looked, and I just started praying to the Creator, told the Most High for not the accident, but, protecting us from that, but the person, they seemed to be okay. And the not the crazy thing, but right before that happened, I'm driving and I see the police come right behind me, and I'm telling her, ooh, let me put my phone down, and because the police is behind me. And as soon as, and the police turned with me as well. And then the accident happened and the police went right around, and, it was all at the same time. So I'm thankful that, somebody was there to at least help, but it appeared that there was no casualties. And I think everybody just really was shook up because nobody's airbag deployed, but their cars were, I'm sure, totaled from what we saw. So, thank the Creator for protecting them as well. That's it. Thank you.
And the Most High be praised. And a lot of times, family, we don't see the Most High hand at work. Most of the time, we don't see it. But believe me, you walking in this way and you serving the Creator to the best of your ability, just you being at your highest self commands the Creator to bring angels to protect you. And you think, and that's something else that I forgot to mention too, but you think you're doing one thing, but the Creator turns into a totally different thing. Like, for example, the situation I was speaking about earlier with the brother. I left my home to go to work at a particular time. It took me a certain amount of time to get there. And then when I got there, I was held up because of another situation with the trash truck. I had to make sure they were there. Everything happens the way that the Creator lines it up for His ultimate plan. So I knocked on that door at the perfect moment that the Most High wanted me to knock on that door. That's the point I'm trying to make. And at that perfect moment, He reaped His perfect results. Same thing with you, Iman, and whoever you was with in the car yesterday. He probably had that cop come right behind you to slow you down just a bit. Because had you been a little bit faster, you would have ended up in that accident for sure. We don't be amazed at the things why the Most High does what He does, because the Creator is awesome. And believe me, He has protection around you always. Just by the energy that you put out into your universe causes the Most High to send certain servants of His to protect you on your journey. A lot of people don't understand that, but that's key. You want to see what that is in the room, please?
Hold on 1 second. Before I read, you all, it's 31 people tuning in. It just dropped down 29, but it's 31 people tuning in. If you would, please make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't, or dislike. Liking and disliking is going to bring more people to the channel. It's only 11 people that has liked this video right now. So let's take the time, the 30 people that's watching right now, if you can just like it or dislike it, we would appreciate it. All right, let me go ahead and start reading.
And share and subscribe.
Okay. Going down, Dahlia says, so if you let them, my children will get hurt so bad and risk not getting it back. I see those videos and blame the parents. That is a part. Okay, that's a part of what makes you so great. 100% real, no fronting. Greetings, always working to do better. Greetings, Prince Kwame Sunhorse.
Hey, shalom, shalom. Welcome.
Then we got Akoshadea says, I feel so blessed to be amongst the chosen who know of the great truth. When you have the favor of Yah, there's nothing you can lack. Screaming, Hallelujah, forever. Giving all honor and praise to the Most High Elohim, creator of the heaven and earth. I'm thanking the Most High for peace of mind, for elevation and clarity.
May the Most High be praised. Total Rabbah. That's what it's all about. Being thankful for peace of mind, for clarity, understanding, and protection. The Most High is King. Total Rabbah.
Told out for those of you that are liking. I'm seeing you liking right now. And I went up to 17. Come on, like it. It's 30 of us in here right now. Go ahead and like it or dislike it. All right, I pass the mic back to you, Prince.
All right, and don't forget to share and subscribe to the page as well. You know, it'll be very informative. This is what we do. We have 2 classes every Saturday. First class begins at 11. The next class begins at 4 in the evening. All right?
And that's Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, EST, Eastern Standard Time, Total Rabbah. All right, so we're going to get started, family, as if we didn't already start. May the Most High be praised.
Oh, Salakli, I'm sorry. I think Nasik had put in the chat he wanted to say something.
Okay, my apologies. I didn't see that.
Oh, I already said it.
Oh,
It
okay.
was about the lights. Okay, hold on.
So now what I have to do is I have to share my screen. Give me a second. Present. Settings, present, present. Is that it? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Share screen. We're going to get started, y'all. Is Sister Anita available?
I don't think she came on yet.
Okay. Nasik, do you think you'd be able to read? Because my wife's computer she got the echo.
Okay. If I break it, let me know, but I should be fine.
Can you guys see that?
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
And everyone else in that generation had died. The people of Israel became so numerous that the whole region of Goshen was full of them. Many years later, a new king came to power. He did not know what Joseph had done for Egypt, and he told the Egyptians, "There are too many of those Israelites in our country, and they are becoming more powerful than we are. If we don't outsmart them, their families will keep growing larger. And if our country goes to war, they could easily fight on the side of our enemies and escape from Egypt." The Egyptians put slave bosses in charge of the people of Israel and tried to wear them down with hard work. Those bosses forced them to build the cities of Pithom and Ramesses, where the king could store his supplies. But even though the Israelites were mistreated, their families grew larger, and they took over more land. Because of this, the Egyptians feared them worse than before, and made them work so hard that their lives were miserable. The Egyptians were cruel to the people of Israel, and forced them to make bricks, and to mix mortar, and to work in the fields. The king of Egypt, fearing the growing population of Israelites, orders Hebrew midwives to kill all male infants at birth. However, the midwives, fearing God, disobey the king's command and let the boys live. When questioned by the king about their actions, the midwives claim that Hebrew women give birth before they can arrive. As a result, God blesses the midwives for their faithfulness, and the Israelite population continues to increase. A man from the Levi tribe married a woman from the same tribe, and she later had a baby boy. He was a beautiful child, and she kept him inside for 3 months. But when she could no longer keep him hidden, she made a basket out of reeds and covered it with tar. She put him in the basket and placed it in the tall grass along the edge of the Nile River. The baby's older sister stood off at a distance to see what would happen to him. About that time, one of the king's daughters came down to take a bath in the river, while her servant women walked along the riverbank. She saw the basket in the tall grass and sent one of them to pull it out of the water. When the king's daughter opened the basket, she saw the baby crying and felt sorry for him. She said, "This must be one of the Hebrew babies." At once, the baby's older sister came up and asked, "Do you want me to get a Hebrew woman to take care of the baby for you?" "Yes," the king's daughter answered. So the girl brought the baby's mother, and the king's daughter told her, "Take care of this child and I will pay you." The baby's mother carried him home and took care of him. And when he was old enough, she took him to the king's daughter who adopted him. She named him Moses because she said, "I pulled him out of the water." After Moses had grown up, He went out to where his own people were hard at work, and he saw an Egyptian beating one of them. Moses looked around to see if anyone was watching. Then he killed the Egyptian and hid his body in the sand. When Moses went out the next day, he saw 2 Hebrews fighting. So he went to the man who had started the fight and asked, "Why are you beating up one of your own people?" The man answered, "Who put you in charge of us and made you our judge? Are you planning to kill me, just like you killed that Egyptian?" This frightened Moses, because he was sure that people must have found out what had happened. When the king heard what Moses had done, he wanted to kill him. But Moses escaped and went to the land of Midian. Moses encounters the daughters of the priest of Midian while at a well. He helps them water their flock and protects them from shepherds who try to drive them away. The girls return home early, and their father, Reuel, asks them how they managed to return so soon. They explain Moses' assistance, and Reuel invites him to their home. Moses stays with Reuel and marries one of his daughters, Zipporah. They have a son named Gershom. Meanwhile, in Egypt, the Israelites groan under their bondage, and God remembers his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He sees their suffering and prepares to act on their behalf.
All right, family. We're going to get to our lesson now. That's where we're picking up in the scriptures now. That was the summary of last week's class. That was a summary of last week's class. And this week, we're going to be picking up in the book of Exodus, chapter 3. Exodus chapter 3. All right. Let's get moving. Let's see whenever you're ready.
Shemot chapter 3, verse 1. Exodus chapter 3, verse 1. And Moshe was shepherding the flock.
See, 1 second, please. Family, you might want to take notes. Write down any questions you might have. Write your questions, post them to the room, and we will address your questions. Any question you might have, write it down, either on the paper. You can ask it after class or during the class. You can stop us at any time, or just post it in the room, and you can ask your question. May the Most High be praised. Please forgive me, Nasi.
Exodus 3 and 1. And Moshe was shepherding the flock of Yithro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the back of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of Elohim.
So now let's stop there for a second. The name of this lesson for today is the hidden messages in Exodus, in the book of Exodus. So there will be a lot of things that will be brought out, minor details about things that may have been overlooked by a lot of people in your life in the past. We're going to dig deep into some things that haven't been discussed probably ever before in your life. And if you're familiar with some of the things, then that's great too. But here are one of the very first things that we need to address. Pay close attention to this, because it's often taught that the Midianites, Ethiopians, did not know of the Creator, had no knowledge of the Most High. Someone even said, I believe it was last week, that Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, Zipporah's father, was a pagan. And I submit to you that that man wasn't a pagan. That man was a priest of the Most High. Now, you can go back to the book of Exodus, the 18th chapter, and it speaks about the information that Jethro had, that he shared with Moshe. But even if you read that chapter, you'll see where Jethro acknowledges the Creator and all that the Creator did for the children of Israel. Then he broke bread with them. So this shows me, even where the mountain of the Most High was, it even shows me there that Jethro had a relationship with the Creator to some degree. Moses kept the flock of Jethro right in the back of his house. How could you be so close to this king and not be introduced to his power? That's almost impossible. The Creator sent Moshe to Jethro for a reason. It was all divine. He met his daughters as soon as he entered into the land. The Most High calls those men to be at the well to have an argument with the daughters over who's going to allow their sheep to get the water first, so that Moshe would intervene, so that he will win the favor of not just the women, but Yethro himself. There's a whole lot of ways the Most High could have did what he did, but he didn't. He did it this way. So we have to learn to accept the doings of the Creator in our lives today. Everything that you hear today will be a comparison to how it applies to your life in this very day. All right? So keep that in mind. Yethro, he led the flocks to the west side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of Elohim. Now, this also, a lot of times when you see it, it'll be called Mount Zion. Mount Zion, Mount Horeb, they are synonymous. They are the same thing, just called by different names. All right? Now watch this, what happens next. Read on, please.
Verse 2.
You know what? I think we read this chapter last week. We're going to read it again. Go ahead, bro.
And a messenger of the Most High appeared to him in a flame of fire from the midst of a bush.
Now
And
let's
he looked
correct a messenger, an angel, malak. A malak. That's what angel means in Hebrew. It's malak of Yotzer. An angel of the Most High appeared to Moses out of the flame in the midst of the bush. Read on, please.
And he looked and saw the bush burning with fire, but the bush was not consumed. And Moshe said, let me turn aside now and see this great sight, why the bush does not burn.
Now, you know, normally, if a bush is on fire, it's going to get consumed. So Moses must have stood there for a while, watching this bush burn up. Probably wasn't no smoke coming from it, because, you know, the smoke is produced from the fire burning up whatever it's burning. That's where the smoke comes from. But in this situation, it was just burning, and yet it wasn't being destroyed. It was maintaining itself. The word for fire in Hebrew is ash. Okay? So it was an ash that was there burning, but it was a labah ash. Okay? It was a flame of fire. It wasn't just a fire, it was the flame of the fire that he was watching, that he was paying attention to. But that flame of fire was not consuming. It wasn't consuming the bush. What man do you know that's going to stand there long enough to watch a bush burn or see something burning and then pay attention and say, hey, it's not being burnt up? Most people who witness something burning don't stand there long enough to just watch it burn. Something happened within Moses to cause him to pay attention significantly to this bush. The Most High works in mysterious ways, family. It was nothing but the essence of the Most High causing Moshe's curiosity to stand there long enough to recognize that it's not being consumed. But then after he recognizes that, he goes a little bit further and says, well, let me go see why it's not being consumed. What could the possible reasons be? I mean, think about it. There's not too many possible reasons. I don't know of any. So I would have just left it alone. The average person would have just left it alone, but not Moshe. The Creator aroused a spirit within him. There's a spiritual energy that's at work in all of our lives. But the problem is a lot of us don't go give in to that spiritual energy. A lot of us, we resist that spiritual energy. And sometimes you can dumb down the power of that spiritual energy that's inside you by doing wickedness. See, these are the things that the Most High wants you to release and unlock within you. This is why he tells you to do righteously. Righteously means doing what you know to be the best thing to do in this particular situation. No matter what you're presented with, do the thing that you know is the best and the right thing to do at this particular time. That's what righteousness is. Too many of us do wickedly, and we live in wickedness. Therefore, that spiritual energy that's inside of every one of us, it doesn't have the opportunity to grow. It doesn't have the opportunity to talk to us. It doesn't have the opportunity to build up enough strength to convince us to do what we know we should be doing. Therefore, we are spiritually starving. Many of us are spiritually starving. And the way how you feed yourself so that you get your spiritual strength back is that you do the things that you know are right and pleasing according to what life requires of you. A lot of us are spiritually dead because we know not how to get spiritual strength. So we just live on with what society brings. We respond to what society brings. Therefore, it keeps us dumb and null inside of our essence, our inward parts. How many of us in this audience have ever felt like there's got to be something better to life than what I'm doing? There's got to be a different mission for me in this life because this is not fulfilling. You have that emptiness inside your soul. You feel that void inside your soul. You feel like it's something that you need to do to build yourself closer to the Creator. The Creator is a kinetic energy. He works with a kinetic energy. He's not a kinetic energy. He works with the kinetic energy to allow his presence to be felt within us. But when we step outside of doing what we know is right, we dull the contact. We prevent the contact from taking place. So then we begin to form a void in our innermost beings. And no matter what drug we take, no matter what foods we eat, no matter who we bring into our lives, that will only remove that void temporarily. But it will return back. And it will return back because you haven't adjusted your innermost being to be the best version that you could possibly be. And until you do that, you will never experience a bush burning and wondering why it's not being consumed. Moses was in a place of spiritual enlightenment. Remember, family, the Creator brought him to a priest. So in a priest household where Moses lived, you have to conduct yourself a certain spiritual way. Moses was elevated in his spirit. He was being prepared in Jethro's house to visit and have a sit down with the Almighty. He was being spiritually prepared to do this. And that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what took place. And we read these scriptures, and we never even touch the surface of what the Father's trying to show us by revealing these scriptures to us. He looked, and behold, the bush was burning, but yet it was not consumed. The average person without the spiritual enlightenment would have minded their business and kept on moving. They'd have been so worried about them sheep that they wouldn't have had time to step away and go see why that bush was burning. But Moses did. And Moses only did that because he was being prepared spiritually, mentally, and physically to do just that, to meet his maker. Read on, please. Verse 3.
Verse 3 again. And Moshe said, let me turn aside now and see this great sight, why the bush does not burn. And the Most High saw that he turned aside to see. And Elohim called to him from the midst of the bush and said, Moshe, Moshe. And he said, here I am. And he said, do not come near.
Let's back up for a second. Now I got to break this down to y'all. I think we're going to have, I think I need to get a different version of the Bible. Let me pull my Hebrew Bible out for a second, because I know what I'm saying, but the book that I'm using is saying things slightly different, and I don't think they're being accurate with us. So please, let me just give me a second. The Hebrew word that's being here used, when you see the word God spoke to Moshe out of the bush, the Hebrew word is the Creator's name, the Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh, which represents the Most High himself. Why this is important? When you read the English, if I ask you the question right now, who's talking to Moses? If you follow the story, you think it's an angel talking to Moses. But the angel is just a walkie-talkie. When you see the word God or God called to him out of the bush, it's not in Hebrew, it shouldn't be saying God. it should be saying the creator, Ha Elohim, not just Elohim, because there is a difference between Ha Elohim and Elohim. So when you see it, matter of fact, they translate it here as God called to him. God in Hebrew is the word Elohim. But in these particular places, Elohim means power, first of all, so you all know. Elohim means powers, but it's plural. It means powers. So it means that a heavenly host in the heavens is doing a particular thing. But here, when it's talking about Moses, in Hebrew, it says the Elohim. As we all know, the word the is a direct article. And the specifically says one particular Elohim, and that's the creator, not just any Elohim. So in English, it doesn't do us any justice because it just says Elohim or God. But in Hebrew, it will say the God if you wanted to use the word God. We don't use the word God because we understand God is a German deity, and we stay away from idolatry when we're dealing with the creator. But in essence, just for the sake of you understanding, it's talking about the creator is speaking with Moses. Why do I bring out the significance in that? I bring the significance in that because Moses had to be of a certain caliber of a man in order for the creator to speak with him. Now, Elohim can visit all righteous men, but Moshe was above that in his level of rankings, in level of most high servants as a man on the earth. Moshe and Abraham dealt with different servants of the creator than normal men. The normal prophets, they didn't deal with the angels of the Most High who had rank and authority that Moshe and Abraham dealt with. They dealt with different individuals, and none of those individuals dealt with men on earth except them. But you won't understand that from just reading the English. You have to delve into the Hebrew language, and it explains to you in the Hebrew language the level that the angels or the servants of the Most High had that dealt with Moshe and Abraham. Here we have the creator, Yotzer, speaking to Moshe from an angel in a bush. But I don't want you to think that this is just any old Elohim, or that the angel has the authority to say what he wants to say. That angel is under direct orders, getting his word from the creator himself to speak directly with Moshe. Same thing happened with Abraham. The Most High says that he never dealt with any other people like he did with the children of Israel, and neither did he deal with anybody else like he did with Moshe and Abraham. Read on, please. Keep that in your mind when we read. When it says Elohim, it's talking about the creator of all creation and not just any Elohim or any power. Read on, please.
4. And Mosai saw that he turned aside to see, and Elohim called to him from the midst of the bush and said, Moshe, Moshe. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Do not come near here. Take your sandals off your feet, for the place on which you are standing is set apart ground.
Now, man, let's talk for a second. The place where you're standing, Moshe, is holy ground. Why was Moshe, what was he about to do? Moshe was about to commune with the Creator. When you go before the Almighty, you want to be in the best condition spiritually, physically, mentally that you can possibly be in. The Creator told Moshe, hold up a second. Take off your shoes, for the ground you are walking on now is sacred ground. So let me ask you something, family. When you go into your house of worship, whatever it may be, a masjid, a church, a synagogue, a house, whatever it may be, when you go into that place to worship the Creator, to commune with the Creator, and even prayer is a way of communing with the Creator. Do you take your shoes off before you enter into that place? Because if you don't, you should. That's respect and reverence to the Creator. That's respect and reverence to that place or that little thing that you have set apart just for the service of the Creator. For example, if you are not as wealthy as you would like to be, so you don't have a certain room that you pray in, you just got a prayer rug, something that you purchase from the store so that when you do pray, you can pray on that rug. When you pray on that rug, because that is supposed to be sacred grounds, that rug should not be all over the house. People shouldn't be able to walk in the house and step on your rug on the floor with their shoes on. You have to show a set apart. You have to show a holiness for that thing, for those things that you reverence to the Almighty. This is why you can't have a dead body in the same place of the house of worship, because the dead bodies are unclean. And the Creator tells you that they're unclean in the book of Numbers, the 19th chapter. So if you bring the dead body into the house of worship, you have just contaminated the house of worship. If you have a house of worship, you shouldn't go into your house of worship with your shoes on. But a lot of us don't have a house of worship. What we have is a prayer rug that we put on the floor in our rooms. So if that's the case, you should never approach your prayer rug with your shoes on. Take your shoes off and show some respect for the Creator. Moses is being commanded to show respect to the Most High right here. He says, Moses, take off your shoes, for the ground that you're stepping on or about to step on is holy ground. Well, Prince, I ain't got nothing holy here. Even your prayer is holy, family. And you got to understand that. So when you have a specific time that you pray, and you do it by separating yourself from everything else. And I'm not talking about when you're out in the world. I'm talking about when you're in your seclusion of your own home, and it's time before you to go before the Creator. If you have a prayer rug, you should take your feet off, your shoes off before, and you should wash your feet before getting on that rug. If you don't have a prayer rug and you're just in your house, then you do whatever you want. But as your spirituality grows, as your desire to draw closer to the Creator grows, you will learn to set apart certain things for the worship of the Most High. And by doing so, you're giving more of yourself and opening up that spiritual essence that we talked about earlier, so that you can receive glory and messages and words and visions from the Creator. How many of us pray to a power and we never get an answer? We never hear from Him. He never shows us favor in that way. Maybe it's because of the way that you're disrespecting Him and don't even realize that you're being disrespectful. Moses here gave us a perfect example of how we are to approach before the Creator. If you have a house of worship, nobody should come into your house of worship with their shoes on, tracking the dirt and the filth from the world into a set-apart place. You should take your shoes off at the door. And you walk in there with slippers on that stay just in that house or just for that purpose, or walk in there barefooted. I would suggest that you cover your feet, because there's a lot of people who have feet fetishes, and you could entice somebody. You could entice somebody. Not that that's your intentions, not that we want anything like that to happen, but just to be on the safe side, cover your feet with some socks or something, especially if you're a sister, a woman, a female, so that people are not being attracted or distracted from the purpose while they're there. Okay? So that's just something, a jewel I wanted to drop as to the house of worship and how to have set apart things for the Creator in our walk while we're walking with Him. Read on, please.
And he said, I am the Elohim
What verse
of your
are you on?
father. Verse 6.
Thank you.
And he said, I am the Elohim of your father, the Elohim of Abraham, Elohim of Yitzchak and Elohim of Yaakov. And Moshe hid his face, for he was afraid to look at Elohim.
That was respect. Moshe was raised up in Pharaoh's house. And the only thing he knew about being raised in Pharaoh's house was to how to practice idolatry. But even in the form of them practicing idolatry, they had respect for their powers and whom they served. Today, we have very little respect for anything and anybody. You don't believe me? Okay, then let me ask you this question. How many of us, before we make prayer, ask the Creator for permission to approach him in prayer? I'll let you meditate on that for a minute. How many of us, can I be heard?
Okay.
Okay, because my screen is black. How many of us, before we make prayer, ask the Creator for permission to approach him in prayer? And a lot of that is because you haven't learned how to respect the Creator to your fullest capability at this time. You don't just speak to anybody else whenever you want to, anybody of nobility. You don't just come out and blast out and start having your own opinion and start talking because you want to start talking. You ask for permission to talk. So what makes you think the Most High is less worthy of praise and honor and respect than mortal man? And that's how we should approach him. We don't praise. So Moshe is actually honoring the Creator by doing what he's doing in the manner that he's doing it. He's actually honoring him by turning his face away. He's saying, I'm not worthy to behold your glory. That's what he's saying. But a lot of us today, we're going to be bold about it. We're going to be arrogant about it. And we do what we do. Moshe didn't come from that that background. He came from a background where you reverence the powers. You honor the powers. You show respect to the powers. But we today, we raised up in the churches, most of us, or many of us, and we don't know how to honor the Creator of all creation because they don't do those things in church. Read on, please.
Before I read, I want to make a statement for 6. I should have said, look at the Elohim, because that one had the high Elohim you were speaking of, Prince.
Yes.
All right. Verse 7. And the Most High said, I have indeed seen the oppression of my people who are in Mitzrayim, and have heard their cry because of their slave drivers, for I know their sorrows. And I have come down to deliver them from the land of Mitzrites, and to bring them up from the land to a good and spacious land, to a land flowing with milk and honey, to the place of Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Verse 9, and now see, the cry of the children of Israel has come to me, and I have also seen the oppression with which the Mitzrites oppressed them. And now come, I am sending you to Pharaoh, to bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Mitzrayim. And Moshe said to Elohim, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh, and that I should bring the children of Israel out of Mitzrayim?
You see the humility Moshe got? You see the humility he has? Most people today will jump and, I'm better than the next man now because the Creator chose me to do this. Moshe dealt with a humble spirit. And Moshe said, who am I? And I want y'all to know that the majority of what he learned in Pharaoh's house, and he learned in Jethro's house. A majority of what he learned, how to show reverence to the Creator. The majority of that he learned in those 2 places. Those were the places that he spent the majority of his time. He said, who am I that you should choose me? I am a man of slow speech. A lot of people interpret that as a stutter, or maybe he just didn't talk very well. He wasn't a very eloquent speaker, maybe. Because the Most High don't deal with flaws. But it was another part that you read right before that, where the
Nasik, I think his computer went out.
All right. So what we'll do is, I don't know if he will want me to keep going or kind of give him a second to come back on. But I can keep reading until he comes back, and he'll probably just have me start back from where he left off at. How does that sound? Can y'all hear me?
Hey, that sounds fine.
All right. Let me see where we're at. Verse 11. So verse 11 says, but Moshe said to Elohim, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and free the Israelites from Mizraim? And what we had heard thus far when Prince was speaking, he came with him with humility and meekness. It said that Moshe was the meekest amongst the land, right, or the earth. That spirit, that characteristic is something that many of us should grasp towards. You hear earlier when, like Princess, for example, was called Hamalcha Hagadol. And if you look at the scripture, it says for Kohen, it says Kohen Hagadol, which is high priest. So Hamalcha Hagadol is high queen, right, or great queen. But the first thing Princess said is, I'm not perfect. Most people will grasp and take those titles and takes those instances of something being done to them that wasn't done to others. For example, Moshe had this burnt bush. It wasn't burning. How many people witnessed that or experienced that? And would look at that like, okay, I must be great for this is being done. But he said, who am I to come before all these people? Some of them actually being older than me, more than likely. Maybe had a connection or had some knowledge or information about you already before I was there. Who am I to come before them? But the Most High is saying to Moshe, as we're going to read, hey, you are who I'm picking. You're the one, you're the individual that I want to come before the people. And one of the reasons is the way that you're addressing me now. You're not saying, oh, yeah, I got this. This is me. You're coming understanding that you don't want to mess up before the people in representation of me. So he's asking them at this point, who am I? Verse 12.
Nasik, Salakali.
I say question. Okay.
You see,
So is there any questions or any comments pertaining to what Prince has already brought forth the lesson? Any questions? Any comments? Please go ahead and put your questions in the chat. I will read it. We will post it. And we will see if we can answer it until Prince returns.
well, I just wanted to comment on what he said about the removing of the shoes. And even like before we pray, whether we have a prayer mat or anything, that's one thing that growing up, we couldn't even wear our shoes in our house. And I still try to practice that, even though I'm in a small camper. Sometimes it doesn't, always happen. But my mom always taught us, or my parents, when he say that, when you walk in the street, you don't know what you're stepping in. Some people you can step in dog poop. Somebody might have released themselves, spit, anything, all type of bodily fluids and just trash and different things that you step on. And we don't have a habit or practice of washing our shoes or, wiping our shoes off before we go into a house. Even if there's a mat, that doesn't really get that stuff off, So how much more imperative would we think it is to walk into, our Knesset? And I know many Knessets don't follow this because they don't believe that. I think, from what I've heard, rather, that place isn't necessarily set apart because it's so many things happen there, which I can agree. If you do so many things in a building and have Shabbat service there or holy day service there, then it's not set apart for the Creator. So you don't have that same zeal to keep it in a cleanliness form, where you take off your shoes, where you don't allow food, where you don't allow secular activity to happen. But and I'm saying this to say, like, the practice really starts at our homes too, because, like, I was telling Sister Zakaria the other day how, because the camper is so small, like, I have a prayer mat, but I don't even put my prayer mat on the floor in there because it's hard to keep it clean. And I feel like if I do that, I'm dirtying my prayer mat, and then I'm just like going to him and it just makes me really think about, how do we really honor the Most High? Like, do we think about those little things? We think to ourselves, oh, that's a small thing. He'll forgive us. We don't know what he'll forgive or not forgive us for. But just that small thing, I'm like, for one, I don't want to kneel or even prostrate myself on a dirty floor, let alone putting my, prayer mat on there. So I just think, we got to think even deeper than, um, it's just my shoes. But, like, what do we walk on a daily? Like, every day when we step outside of our house, we can't sweep the ground. I mean, in some places they do street washing and all that, but as soon as somebody does that, the next person comes, you don't know where their shoes were, So I just think it's a practice that begins even before you establish a set apart place for the Creator. Because once you establish that, if you practice it so much, it just becomes a normal thing for you. And I know we talk about this a lot. And I'm thinking it's being repeated, because if we look in the Tanakh, the Most High repeats a whole lot of his laws. He repeats his statutes and commandments to us more often than not, for us to remember, for us to put it in our daily life, to make it a application of Torah, as Maurice Shalim would say. So I always like when he brings that up, because it's just a reminder, like, I get the heebie-jeebies when I see somebody walk in my bathroom with their shoes on, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to walk in that bathroom. If I get out the shower, somebody's shoes, it just makes me think of what's going to go inside the pores on the bottom of my feet. I get real, like my Ish can tell you, because I'll be like, take off your shoes. And if you don't, then I get like, okay, after he gets out, I need to clean it, because it just gives me a little nervous thing about just my own body and what may affect me from, walking in the bathroom or walking barefoot. So it's like I'm always trying to wear slippers or a thick sock, something, because I just think about all the things that can come from the bottom of people's shoes. And so I think it's just important for us to think about, even if it doesn't become a practice, but just to think about why it's done, and why it is so important. Even the Most High pointed out in the Tanakh, just as we read, before Moshe could step into a place, he told him what to remove. So that's even more confirmation of why it should be done. That's all I have to say, Zehu. And I think, see, my sister has a comment.
I wanted to comment on what you said really quickly about the different groups within Israel, even Christian churches, even whoever identifies or uses the Bible for their daily faith or walk or things of that nature. But in particular, you brought out the Bnei Israel, so the Israelites. The thing that I want to throw out there for those that may be listening that have that same thought process and what Princess presented was the Leviticus 23 talks about the feast days, and that word used is typically Moedim. Moedim is appointed times. So appointed off the bat means set apart. It's set apart from the other times, other days, other months. It's set apart. So if we're keeping these appointed times in this building, just responding on what they said to you, if we're keeping these appointed times in this building, then we're still supposed to treat that the same way in which we're seeing Moshe's doing with this set apart place of the Most High, in which we're doing at the Knesset that we have or the Mishkan that we have. It's set apart. It is an appointed place. It's an appointed place. We're coming up with excuses. And here's the thing. When I say excuse, I'm not saying it to bash or degrade. We're a lot of times it's more so maybe our understanding, maybe what's been taught to us. Maybe we haven't delved or dived into the scriptures fully, whether it's context, cultural history, or whether it's language, or just looking at the examples. We haven't went in there. We haven't did that. So the appointed times, anything that's appointed or set apart that the Most High has instructed us to do, we have to put it in high regards. We have to. And we have to challenge ourselves to continue to find what it is that we need to do, as long as it's in alignment with the scriptures. Now, I don't want to say everything that we do or think of should be that way, but in regards to the scripture, especially when it comes to the presence and the reverence of the Most High. So I just wanted to bring that part out, because if there's anyone listening to what you said and they may be those individuals that's doing it, we're just encouraging to think of it, think about it. It's an appointed time. So it's a set apart time, right? I think Princess Empress brought out that we're supposed to be set apart. So if we're supposed to be set apart, we can't say, well, we're not in the land, so we can't be set apart, but you're keeping the Sabbath. You're keeping laws. You're wearing tzitzits. You're wearing fringes. So you're ultimately focusing on in some manner to be set apart. So it needs to be consistent. Am I froze? Okay. All right, you all. Any more questions? I see some more comments. It's nice to see the connection between Moshe taking off his shoes to honor the Most High and we doing the same in our house of worship. And you know what's interesting? At this particular point, no temple was around. Many people teach that since the temple is not present, we can't worship the Most High a certain way. If I'm not mistaken, well, I'm not going to do that because Prince is going to keep going forward. And we're going to see that part, and I'm sure he's going to bring it out later. But let's just stick with this part. He's doing this and there's no temple. He's just coming before the Most High. So it's nothing, no temple set up in Jerusalem, nothing. And the way that he's honoring the Most High from being instructed to do so is prior to that. We have to stop using the excuses as to we're not in the land, so we can't do. That's fine. I understand it. But we still have to have a certain reverence, a certain order, structure in mind. And we can utilize the examples when the temple weren't there, wasn't there. Or when we was in some form of captivity in the history. How did they still worship the Most High? How did they still honor? All right. So like Lee, the next one says, the mountains were set apart, not just for that moment, but also for the journey Moshe was about to embark on. The Most High would address Yisrael from this mountain. This is facts. This is facts. We're going to read that as Prince keep going. We're going to read that they even had to come back. Let's keep going. Moaz Zakaria says, Cain, I always think of the appointed times as literal appointments. It is a time and place we are to literally meet the Father. This is our specific time he has called forth to meet with us. If we take meetings and dental appointments seriously, how much more seriously should we take the appointments with Abinu, our Father? It's like date night week with him. And you know what's interesting? I always say this, and Princess, if you have any comments after this, please bring it out. I always say this. We treat the Bible and the Most High of convenience. I don't know if I broke up. Am I still here? It's only when it's convenient. We treat everything bigger than the Most High. We treat everything bigger than the scriptures. And what I mean by that is, yes, the stuff that we like to do as it pertains to the Most High, we do it, But when the real stuff needs to be done, it's like we treat our jobs more. We give more honor to our bosses, to our jobs, to our family members, to whatever it might be. We go hard as they say, like in the paint or whatever, for those things. But when it comes to the Most High, it's different. It's different. Did you have anything, Princess, before we just giving Prince a little more time?
No, I just what you just said is so true. It's really sad because we will give everything else. Like one thing I remember when I first came in this way of life, I remember people would leave Shabbat class early to go and prepare to go out later that day. And I remember there would be people, like some of the elders would be like, how you're still profaning the Shabbat because you're leaving services to go be prepared to do something later. And I know, and that stuck out to me. And there's times when I caught myself doing it and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. If whatever I plan to do after the Shabbat cannot wait for me to prepare for it after the Shabbat, then I probably shouldn't be doing it. Or I need to take the time prior to the Friday night before the sun go down and prepare myself, whatever it be, my clothes, everything, if I'm trying to be somewhere else. And then the people, whoever it is I'm trying to go attend with, need to understand that once the Shabbat is over, then I'll attend, whether I'll be 30 minutes late or an hour. I've missed so many events that like even my family has done because they'll throw it on the Shabbat and be like, oh, okay, well, it'll start as soon as Shabbat go down. But now I live 2 hours away. I'm not leaving prior to the Shabbat to be there at 8 o'clock and the Shabbat is still going on. But so many of us do that and don't even realize that small little, I call it a trespass against him, can cause us so much separation from him because that's not profaning the Shabbat day. But basically you're putting that event or those people before the Creator. And I could just honestly say within me, I have felt when I've done that, I've never felt the reward from that. I felt like every time I've done it, something bad or something disappointing happened after that. And it made me reflect on why I did it. So, and I'm not saying I did it so many times, but the times that I did it, it was like the Most High was like, oh, okay, you want to keep playing with my Shabbat day. You putting your family before me or you putting this before me. And I realized like that's so not what we're supposed to be doing. Even there's times when I've literally woken up and was like, oh, I'm tired. I don't want to go on and be in class today and be on like the Zoom or here or like physically here. And I might text my, you should be like, I think I'm gonna rest today, whatever. And he'd be like, what? Why? And I might say whatever. But then I think about it and I'm like, did I really, when I needed to rest and not go do something else, did I do it then? Or why am I taking, this day, even though today is a rest day, but we have a job to do, to teach. So why am I taking this day to say, you know what? I'm not gonna come and be present before the Creator and my people, but on Monday, when it's time for me to go hang out with my family, I'm gonna be present. So I think we have to really consider those choices because even if, like I said, even if we think they like this small to us, they could be this huge or huge, more even bigger to the Creator. Even just honoring Him and how we talk. Even like when you brought up our Tanakhs, even that, like when I see a Tanakh sitting on a chair that somebody's just sat in, it kind of irks me, and I'm quick to pick up the Tanakh and go put it on something because I'm just like, we are clean, we're here, but think about the words that's in this book are the words of the Most High, because it says, thus saith the Creator, so that we know that these are His commandments. So we have to honor that. Like, it's like we don't, if we see something precious of ours and we see it on the ground, we get mad. Like, that's how I feel when I see the Tanakh just being placed anywhere or just being treated any kind of way. And that could just be something that, is a personal thing, which I believe it is. But I think everything we do, especially, as Zachariah stated, if we make it to an appointment on time or certain things on time, how much more do we put into that investment in how we approach the Most High or how we prepare to be before Him? So, and we have all type of excuses why we can't, or I'm tired from the week, or I'm doing this, or I did this. But you made it to work on time. You made it to that hair appointment on time. You made it to your nail appointment on time. So we have to really bethink ourselves. And I'm not saying, that's why I said we, because I'm not omitting myself from making those decisions. So we just have to really start to think purposely of how we want to be in that remnant, how we want to be in the chosen ones of His, and do it. Be intentional about who we are to the Most High and who He is to us. Zehu, I see you back, Abba. Shalom.
All right, I'm not sure we said.
They tried to shut us down, man. I was dropping too powerful a message this morning. They didn't want this to happen. Even now, my computer's still freezing up on me. It actually went completely out. Took a long time to come back on. Then a long time to reboot. They don't want us teaching this type of stuff, man. I don't know what to say. But we're going to do what we got to do anyway. Let's keep going on. Yeah, they listen. They always listen. They know what's going on. They don't want us waking up.
No.
They want us to stay dormant and sleep so they can keep in control.
Yes. Can I say, I forgot to say it, but the other day when I went downtown, I had to go to downtown Sparta for a couple of meetings. And I'm sitting there talking to another sister. She's a sister because I call her a sister, right? And we're just having our conversation, catching up because we haven't seen each other in a minute. And this man walks up and puts his hand out to, introduce himself to us. So we like, okay, he says his name to me and I'm looking at him and I notice he has this badge on, but I looked at the badge and I'm like, oh, the words are kind of small. Like, you know how most times if you have a badge, you have it up here, you want people to see who you are, what you're talking about, or you have it, or the words are kind of big. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. The words are small. And you just mentioning they listening made me think about it. So as he's talking to the other sister, I see his badge and I look at it and it says Counterintelligence Agency. So I said, oh, that's why it's so small, because they don't want you to see certain things. So before he walks away, I said, oh, so you're with the CIA? He said, huh? I said, that's what your badge says. And he said, you read that small? I said, yeah, I did. He said, oh, I see you're very observant. I said, well, you walked over here introducing yourself. You just said your name. You didn't give all this title. So by you saying they listen, they do. They listen, they approach you, they're all around. And we have to be very observant of who's around us. Because he tried to say, well, I'm not a field agent. And I just looked at him like, it says CIA. So field agent, office agent, whatever it is, you're CIA. That's what it is. You're agent to the government. But yeah, so we have to be mindful, and they're going to try to shut us down any type of way. So that was it.
Okay. Thank you very much for that informative piece of information. So now, while I was listening on my other device, there was a lot of important information that was being said. And I just took brief notes so I can mention some of the things that I wanted to mention before we got back to the lesson. And this is one of the things, I think I got like 3 things I like to talk about. First lesson is this: the Most High chooses whomever He chooses. It's not based on popularity. It's not based on popular opinion. It's not based on who's the tallest, who's the good lookingest. I just created a word, but who's the good lookingest? Who's the most eloquent in speech? The Most High cares nothing about any of those things. He chooses who He chooses to bring His message through. The Most High has never chosen, I want y'all to hear this, because I've always taught this and I always will teach it as long as the Creator has breath of life in me. The Most High has never chose a perfect person to bring about his perfection. He's always chosen imperfect people to bring about his greatness. So that's also including you, family. That's also including all of us. Every one of us have to be in position at every moment to speak the word of the Most High, to help give somebody else understanding. And when I say speak the word of the Most High, again, I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about how to teach somebody to be the best version of themselves. That's what I'm speaking about. These are the things that we all must be prepared to do, because the Most High chooses whomever he chooses. And he's chosen at this time every one of you. So you are representatives of the Most High. And every opportunity, you should be representing the Creator. From the way you walk, to the food you eat, to the places you go, the people you entertain, the people you keep in your company and your surroundings. Everything you do should be an instrument used by you to represent the Creator. The clothes you have on, the fringes you wear, the hat, the headpiece, everything. We have to understand that we are representatives of this King, and we represent him 24 hours, 7 days a week. And we have to understand that. May the Most High be praised. And another thing was, in these houses of worship that we have, I heard you all talking and speaking about how people disrespect the house of worship. And Nasik brought a very, very important part out where he spoke about, and Moshe did all this and there wasn't even a temple around. This was before the development of the temple. Very good point. I wanted him to keep on talking because he keep teaching, because he was doing such a phenomenal job. And that's a good point. And that's an excellent point. But yet he knew how to reverence the Most High and how to honor him. And as I brought out earlier, he was being groomed for that. In Pharaoh's house, even in his relationship with the Hebrew people, and also in Jethro's house. See, each one took him to a different level. Pharaoh's house he was raised in, so they told him about Ammon, Ra, all those different deities, the sun god, the moon god, the night god, the god of the frogs, the god of the beasts, all those different deities he was learning about. And then he had also the experience of being Hebrew, so he learned about a little bit about the Creator. He was in relations with the Creator, but nothing deep on that level. But he learned a little about the Creator even then. And then through all of that, he fled Egypt and he went into Midian, where a priest, an elevated person in relations to the Creator, had him and taught him a lot of things, preparing him or grooming him for the job of freeing the children of Israel from Egypt. That probably none of them knew what they were doing. They were just sharing with him information. Like you, as a child of the Most High right now, if one of your relatives came and they decided they had to live with you for a period of time, and you let them live with you, they don't just come in your house and disrupt your house. They come into your house and they have to adapt to the rules and regulations and how you run your household. Same thing with Jethro. Jethro wouldn't just let Moshe come in with his Egyptian ways and just bring them in and they start worshiping, allow him to worship in his house and do all types of abominable things. Moshe wouldn't have let that happen. You follow me? It would have had to stop. I mean, Jethro wouldn't allow that to happen with Moshe in his house. So he was being groomed in how to get closer to the Creator, how to honor the Creator, how to know a little bit about the Creator, because he never questioned any of those things at all. He saw that, it grew his attention, and he went straight to it. He was being groomed for these. And did I talk about parties in the house of worship? I did. What did I say about parties in the house of worship?
I mean, not today, but you have.
Yeah, I'm talking about today. Yeah. Now today, when we were talking about taking off your shoes and reverence the house of worship, I could never understand how people could do that. They'll worship the Most High in the daytime, and then at night they have a party for a fundraiser. And I'm not talking about a party where they play spiritual music. I'm talking about a party where they play secular music. I'm talking about a party where the girls show up half naked. I'm talking about a party where they standing right outside the door, smoking weed, drinking beer, and sometimes in the event, they're drinking beer and smoking weed. And especially if they got a big basement, they're getting it in because they call it a fundraising so they can make more money to worship the Creator. It's not supposed to be that way. This is not how we're supposed to honor the Almighty. We're supposed to have a set apart situation when we call ourselves reverencing the Creator. We just had a holy day just this week. On the holy day, any music we play, all spiritual music. And I wouldn't let them go anywhere else other than spiritual music because this is the holy day. We have to reverence the Almighty. And we live on a whole lot of land. We got a whole lot of land. We got a whole community of people. Now, you just don't let people just disrespect the Creator in the Most High's house because that whole land was dedicated to the Almighty. Before we put one building or one structure on that land, we had to place a house of worship on the land first because we had to dedicate that land to the Most High. We had to invite His Spirit, His essence, so that He would bring a portion of Himself and drop it right there and leave it there. And we don't move away from that. We got the house of the Most High on a high hill, the highest part of the land, the highest elevation. It's where we built the temple. Our little portion of what we were able to do at this time is where we put that temple, the house of worship for the Creator. And then everything down, the lower parts, is where we dwell, and where we live, and where we do what we do. But we always have to put the Most High first and always give Him the best of the best. Always give the Creator the best of the best, whatever you do. This is where we get lost. We don't do that when we worship the Creator for a lot of people. We don't give the Most High the best of the best, and we should. All right? So how do you have a Shabbat day when you worship the Creator during the daytime in the building, and then the sun goes down, and you're right back in the basement of that same building acting like a average person, I'll say, for the lack of words. I wanted to say something else, but we just act regular. We are not meant to be regular. We are to be set apart. The only reason why our people are acting regular today is because we lost our minds. We were hit upside the head, and we lost our minds. And we've gravitated to the teachings of the Western society, and it has taken us away from our Eastern culture. Therefore, we conduct ourselves just like Westerners or foreigners. We don't conduct ourselves like children of the Most High. The demonstration of how the children of the Most High conduct themselves is this right here. When Moshe was walking and he saw a Hebrew brother hit another Hebrew or argue with another Hebrew brother and then strike him, Moshe asked the brother, "Why do you do this to your brother?" That wasn't cool. That's not how it's supposed to be, because that's how we're supposed to conduct ourselves with our people. But we don't. We ridicule, we smart mouth, we talk about, we separate, we don't help, we tease, we make fun of. That's what we do with our people, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. The Most High gave us a set of instructions for us to follow, and we have to follow those instructions. All right, Nasik, do you remember where we left off at?
Okay. We were on at verse 11.
All right, please. Before we read, there was some comments on the side. You think you might want to address those comments, and then we can get started with the scriptures?
Well, Zechariah says, absolutely, we represent the Most High in every facet of our lives. I impress this on my children heavily. Even when we go to hotels or places for vacation, I always clean up before we leave because we represent Abba. And although the housekeepers have a job, I always think about them saying, wow, those people left this place so clean. And perhaps they will see our ziti and search out Abba.
Well, you know what, sis? That's a very good method. And it's strange, but I do the same thing. When we go to a hotel and we check in, I always put all the dirty clothes in the corner, take the blankets off the bed, put them in the corner, and try to leave the place looking decent. I do the same thing. So that might be that spiritual connection, and that's a good thing. And I do it for the same reason, so that people will see that these something special. I ain't get to the part about the fringes, with them seeing the fringes and want to search it out. I never even got that deep. But I did get to the part that for the reason of them seeing that Black folk can be decent folk. Now, that's the reason why I usually do it. But I like your interpretation of why you do it. I think it's respectful and honorable. But yes, these things are important because we represent the Most High at all times. May the Most High be praised.
Handshake.
Okay.
Verse 12. And he said, I will be with you. That shall be your sign that it was I who sent you. And when you have freed the people from Mizraim, you shall worship Ha Elohim at this mountain. Moshe said to Ha Elohim, when I come to the Israelites and say to them, Salakli Eloah of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is Eloh's name? What shall I say to them?
Now, I want y'all to pay close attention in this part. Now, did you notice how when Nasik was reading, he was saying, Ha Elohim, Ha Elohim? And Moshe said to Ha Elohim, Nasik, you let me know. Does it say Ha Elohim in this part right here? Then Moshe said to Ha Elohim.
Okay. V'yomer Moshe el Ha Elohim.
All right. So he's talking to the Creator. He's talking to the Creator. He says, if I come to the people of Israel and say to them, the Elohim, Ha Elohim of your fathers, have sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? Shemo. What is his name? What shall I say to them? Now, who's Moshe talking to? He's talking to the Creator of all creation. Okay? But verse 14, what does it say in Hebrew, please?
V'yomer Elohim.
Now, this is the response that Moshe got. What does it say again?
V'yomer Elohim el Moshe.
Vayomer Elohim. Vayomer Elohim means that Elohim said. It does not say the Creator said. So when it says, I am who I am, is not the Almighty's name. But so many people believe that that's the Almighty's name. Now, I'm not going to knock you if that's what you believe, because I'm not going to argue with you or fight with you. I'm not even going to try to change your mind. It's okay. I respect the fact that you're calling on the Most High, period, by whatever name you choose. But this is not the Almighty addressing Moshe in this particular voice. It is the Almighty, but it's a different messenger. He says, I am. Elohim says to him, thus saith Elohim, I am who I am. That means I will be whatever I will be. That's why the Most High didn't say it, because the Most High is always going to be him. And he said, say this to the people of Israel, I am have sent me to you. That means whatever form I come unto you is the form that I will come unto you. That's what it means. It's not a divine name, but yet people teach it as a divine name. And if you feel it is, more power to you. I'm not going to argue with you and try to change your opinion. I will respect whatever your decision is and how you reverence the Almighty. Nasik, please.
Verse 15. And Elohim said further to Moshe, thus shall you speak to the Israelites. The Most High, the Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, Elohim Yitzchak, Elohim Yaakov has sent me to you.
So he described who is sending him so that the people will know. Now, who was the people that he wanted to know? The elders of the people who were still keeping the teachings of the Creator. Basically, the Levitical priesthood. Basically, he had to describe to them who sent him to them. He says that Elohim, you remember Abraham? You remember Isaac? You remember Jacob? Their father, their creator, their master is the one that I'm coming to represent. He sent me to you all. Because remember, we had a lot of different deities in our mind because we were Americanized, or excuse me, we were Egyptianized. I hope y'all caught my understanding. Therefore, we had a lot of different deities in our mind. So he had to get exclusive. The power that sent me to you was the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Yaakov, Jacob. He is the one that I come to represent. Read on, please.
Can I comment, Prince?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like Prince. I don't want to force anything, but I do want to show something in the previous verses. First of all, in verse 15, it does have Yod He Wahe there. It says, Vayimel od Elohim el Moshe kol tomer el bnei Yisrael Yod He Wahe on this part. So in verse 15, like Prince is saying, it's telling you, okay, you want to know? I will be what I will be. But since they're asking, Yod He Wahe, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is the one that sent you. But I want to bring something else up in verse 11, really quick. In verse 12. If you study the scriptures and if you go through the Hebrew, you're going to see it's a saying that the Most High always says, or we say to ourselves sometimes, I will be with you. Verse 12 says, Vayomer ki ehyeh imcha. So it says, and the Most High, or he said, I will be with you. That shall be your sign that it was I who sent you. And if you go to Joshua chapter 3, verse 6, you're going to see in that sentence, that same phrase, I will be with you, just being said as a phrase. And then it goes to his actual, who we attribute to be the Most High, the Yod He Wahe, in that same sentence. So I just wanted to bring that out in what Prince was bringing out, kind of showing you that I will be as I will be, because it's not I am, right? I am as I need, right? And it's another way of saying it. Anarchy, is that another way in biblical? Anarchy is I, right?
Yeah.
I am. So, but I will be is ehyeh in Hebrew, or they would say ahaya in Hebrew, right? So I just wanted to bring that out. If you search the scriptures, just try to pay attention to that. It's just a phrase, right? It's just a phrase. Kind of like if you say Emmanuel, Manu, or Emmanuel is with you. I will be the Most High with you, right? So it's just grammar. But the name is verse 15, you all. All right, you want me to keep going?
Okay.
Verse 16. Go and assemble the elders of Yisrael and say to them, the Most High, the power of your fathers, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob has appeared to me and said, I have taken note of you and of what is being done to you in Mitzrayim, in Egypt. And I have declared, I will take you out of the misery of Egypt to the land of Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites or Hivites, and the Jebusites, to a land flowing with milk and honey. They will listen to you. Then you shall go with the elders of Israel to the king of Egypt, and you shall say to Yod He Wahe, the power of the Hebrews became manifest to us. It's likely. Now, therefore, let us go a distance of 3 days into the wilderness, to sacrifice to our Elohim.
Now, let's stop there for a second. So much is being said there. So much. But basically, the Most High is trying to get us out, away from everyone else, so that he can speak unto us. Very similar situations take place in our everyday life. We can't hear the voice of the Creator speaking to us, not only because a lot of us are spiritually declined in our spiritual understanding or ability to hear the Creator, but also because we have so many voices from so many different places coming at us. Egypt was filled with certain spirits and energies that the Creator did not want to be present when he speaks to us. He had to separate us from those spirits and energies, just like today, a lot of the people that you associate in your life, you need to become separated from in order for you to be at your higher self. A lot of us, we get emotional with our friends and we have attachments with humans that we don't need to be having attachments with because they really mean us no good. But oftentimes you're not able to see that right up front. You're not able to see it right up front that it's just that real and powerful in your life that these people are no good for you. Because some people, because your spiritual inclination is not as strong as it could be, you don't see the false spirits that these people are presenting to you. They pretend to be your brother and your sister, meaning your friends in so many ways, the true essence of a friend. But that's only as long as you are beneficial to them in their life. Therefore, you're not able to grow in your spiritual development to be the very best that you can until you get away from a lot of the things that are preventing your spirit from elevating. So separation is very much needed. Another thing that's needed is prayer and meditation. Very much needed prayer and meditation. Meditation will allow your mind to be clear, to be fully clear, and allow you to get that spiritual energy that I was talking about returned back to you through meditation. And prayer, oh man, let me tell you about prayer. So many people have no idea at all what prayer really is. When you have a passion inside your soul, a passion, and you are doing everything in your life to bring that passion into fruition, that's prayer. But people don't know that. When you prostrate yourself on the floor at night to the Creator, and you say, "Oh, Abby, here I come. I'm coming before you, and I want to pray to you for help, and I want to ask you for understanding, and I want to pray to you to help my brother or my sister." Those are good things to say. But those are the lower levels of prayer. Not the things you say, is the spirit and the energy that you put into it that makes the prayer more and more powerful. Not necessarily what you say. So let me show you why I'm saying this. Anything that you're passionate about, you're actually performing the work to get it done in your life. It takes a higher level of your energy and your essence to manifest that thing. And you making sacrifices, to achieve your goal, your spiritual goal, or your whatever it is you desire. You're making those physical, mental sacrifices. You might separate yourself from your friends for a period of time, or your girlfriends might want to go out and party, or your homies might want to go out and party, and you don't go out and party because you need that money to go toward what you're doing. If we took that same energy in that prayer and applied it to the prayer when we prostrate and get ourselves on the ground to the Most High, the same spiritual intensity behind it, our prayers will be so much more powerful. And then we will elevate from the lower level of prayers to a higher level of prayers. A lot of people think it's the words you say in prayer that makes the necessarily the words you say, because you really don't need to speak and say a whole lot of lustrous things. I do believe that you need to speak because it's the vibration that carry your prayers. But you can whisper those things. And you don't have to say no long, elaborate things. Say what's in your soul. Don't rehearse your prayers and say what you hear others commonly saying. Say what's in your soul. And don't be so quick to ask for things, but be quick to give praise. Be quick to give respect and reverence. Be quick to thank the Creator. That's how you begin in the process of your prayer. And when you do that, it opens up your essence to be more receiving to the things that the Father has for you to hear and see and do. But that's what we must do. That's the type of people we must become. Read on, please, and let's see where we at.
So luckily, I was
Can you
muted. Okay, I was muted. I was trying to press the button. So luckily, verse 18. They will listen to you. Then you shall go with the elders of Israel to the king of Egypt, and you shall say to him, Yodewahe, the power of the Hebrews became manifest to us. Now therefore, let us go a distance of 3 days into the wilderness and sacrifice to our power, the Most High. Yet I know that the king of Mizraim will let you go only because of a greater might.
Now, stop for a second. Look at 18. It says, and they will listen to your voice, the elders. First, Moshe was commanded to go to the elders. He wasn't commanded to go to everybody. So stop thinking that you got to impress everybody if the Creator gave you a message or a spiritual gift. You don't have to impress everybody. The Most High sent him to a select group of people. And those group of people that he sent him to was the elders. But I want y'all to watch this. The elders didn't meet with the Creator. Moshe met with the Creator, and Moshe brought the message of the Creator back to the elders. Well, watch what was being said here. This is what the Most High is telling Moshe is going to take place. And they will listen to your voice, and you and the elders of Israel shall go to the king of Egypt and say to him, the Most High, the Creator of all things, of the Hebrews, has met with us. When did the Creator say he was meeting with them? He didn't. He never met with them. But yet, this is what's going to be said to Pharaoh. Moshe was that vessel that the Creator used to speak through to get the message to the people. He was a man. And the elders at this point is going to recognize that he's speaking the word of the Creator. Therefore, the Most High has met with them. Do y'all understand? Therefore, the Most High has met with them. So I ask you simply like this. Has the Most High ever met with you people? Have the Most High ever met with you all? Has the Most High, even if he didn't speak to you personally, and he spoke to another individual and you got that message, then the Most High has met with you. You have to take heed to that. And you have to elevate to that level and understand that the Almighty is speaking with you. That message could be coming to you today, right here from where we're reading. You may be hearing the message of the Creator right now, that you have now the ability to change the whole trajectory of your future. And how your whole lifespan is going to be from this day forward, because you heard it right here. All you have to do is begin to apply these teachings to your life. And again, I'm not talking religion. I'm talking about you being the best version of yourself. Read on, please. Let me see where we at. Read on, please. How far we got to go to the end?
Verse 19. Yet I know that the king of Mizraim, or Egypt, will let you go only because of a great might. So I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with various wonders, which I will work upon them. After that, he shall let you go. And I will dispose the Egyptians favorably toward this people, so that when you go, you will not go away empty-handed. Each woman shall borrow from her neighbor, and the lodger in her house objects of silver and gold and clothing, and you shall put these on your sons and daughters, thus stripping the Egyptians.
All right. May the Most High be praised. There was so much in that portion that I could touch on. So maybe I will. I think we got like 15 minutes. I'll probably go another 5 minutes with it, maybe 10. All right. The Creator says, I will stretch out my hand and strike Egypt with all the wonders that I will do in it. The Most High is really saying, I'm going to wage war against the gods of Egypt, or the powers of Egypt. Because the Egyptians, in order to get them to understand something or to do something, you had to show them. And that's exactly what the Creator is doing right now in our present life. He's going to show us. For many of us, he's already shown us. But we have to have that spiritual discernment to relate to what the Most High is saying to us, or we will continue to feel empty inside and not fulfilled. The Most High is preparing us just like he prepared Moshe. He's preparing us to return back to him. You started in a church, you won't end up in a church if you really submit yourself to the Creator, because the churches are not really doing what the Creator has for you to do. You don't understand? Okay, I'll share this with you. How many churches do you know that keep the biblical holy days of the Bible? How many churches? How many masjids do you know that keep the biblical holy days of the Bible? How many churches, how many masjids? And I'm just there so far. No matter what your religious practices are, they always teach you about the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. None of them ever denounced the power of those men. None of them. They all elevate and enhance that power and teach you about their power. So now when they do that, how many of them teach you about keeping the holy days of those men, or the holy days of the people who are the children of those men who still keep that relationship with the Creator? If your church, if your masjid, or if whatever religion you're following are not teaching you these things, then I would reevaluate where I go to learn the truth of the Creator. Because the Creator says that these things will not cease to exist. In all of your dwellings, you should continue to do these things through all of your generations. That's in the book. So if the places that you're trusting in to teach you these things are not allowing you or teaching you to keep these holy days, or at least have a remembrance of these holy days, then something is wrong with that place. They're only giving you a half of the story, and you're supposed to get the full of the story. If the place of worship that you are worshiping in, if they are teaching you that it's okay for you to bring a dead body in the same place where you worship the Creator, that's another indication that something is wrong. You should never bring a dead body in the presence of where you worship the Almighty at. Numbers, the 19th chapter. It'll tell you that these things are forbidden. You shouldn't do these things. A lot of our people who teach for different motivations. Some for power, some for fame, but the majority of them is for wealth. So the more people they got walking with them, participating with them, the more wealth that they're going to receive. And that's what they do, because that's their goal. That's their desire, to become wealthy. And they do that off the backs of us, the people. That's what they do. So there's more to the Creator than what meets the eye at first glance. You have to look deeper into the understanding so that you will learn what the Most High has for you. And it is an individual journey. And I say that because he raises us up individually at different times. All right? He raises us up individually at different times. So that's why I say it's an individual journey. But yet it's a collectivity of all of us that makes it successful. The collectivity of all of us that makes it successful. All right. So we're gonna stop here at this moment. And we're gonna ask if there are any questions. And we're gonna open the floor up for questions. We got like 15 minutes left, 10 minutes left. So we're gonna open the floor up for questions. Are there any questions at this time? Are there any comments? Is there anyone who would like to take this last few minutes just to talk about what you may have learned today? You can type it in the room, or the people who are on the panel, you can speak it through your microphone. Just type in the room what you may have learned from today's lesson, the comparison and how real life situation has taken place, what you appreciate about the lesson, or what you disagree about the lesson. And please feel free to express whatever your opinions are about today's lesson. We got 10 minutes left before we close out. The next class will be at 4 o'clock this afternoon. The next lesson will be at 4 o'clock this afternoon. May the Most High be praised. Are there any questions, anyone? Anybody on the panel have any questions? Any comments? Anybody want to enhance the lesson a little bit by talking a little further about what we got out of the lesson? All right. I'm just trying to give it a few minutes for the people in the audience because I know we got a little delay when we speak into when they respond. So I'm trying to give it a little bit of time for you to respond if you have any questions or any comments that you would like to post. If there's anything that you got out of the lesson today, if you'd like to speak on that, then you can speak on that as well. All right. No comments. It's been 2 minutes now. I thought we would have received something by now because of the delay. How about you up here, Nasik, Ima? You guys want to say anything about today's lesson?
Okay. I pray that those that have lasted long for the remainder of it, something that was said that really like pricked you a little bit, pricked your mind as far as seeing the closeness that Moshe had with the Most High. And then I also want to encourage too, do not think, this is for me speaking right now, that you're not capable of having that closeness with the Most High as the men and women that were righteous of old in the Tanakh. We're all capable of it, but we got to have that, as Princess said earlier, that desire. That desire is just the first step, because many of us have desire to become, certain type of individuals in our lives, but we miss that application, as Princess brought out, as Chief Elder Moy Shalem would say, application of Torah. We have to have the application of what we're desiring. So this example was very important, that we saw Moshe, the obedience and the reverence, even to the point where Prince harped on mostly the reverence to this specific location of worshiping and speaking with the Most High, this specific location. We can do that here. And that may be the very reason why we're not being connected to the Most High like we desire, because we lack that reverence and that application of the desire that we may have a little bit or claim to have. So I just wanted to expound on that. Appreciate you bringing the lesson out and those points brought out within the lesson.
May the Most High be praised. Torah. Ima, would you want to say anything? Okay. We're going to close out our class right now. We'll be back at 4 o'clock, family. Creator willing, we'll return back here today at 4 o'clock. We have a different lesson to present. And also at 4 o'clock, have your commandments ready, because we open up by saying our commandments and then moving forward.
I do got one more thing to say, Prince. You brought out something important with meditation too. That's spoken about in my home, and that's a journey I've been on for some years, even prior to meeting you all. And I think that's an element that's missing within our community. We got the prayer down, we got the moedim down, the appointed times, we got the wearing the garbs and stuff like that. But that meditation, I believe, is one of the most important pieces or elements to bring us closer to the Most High, because we're separating ourselves from the noise around us. Once you could get to the point where you meditate, I remember one time at work, I was meditating in the lunchroom, and they like, is he asleep? You know what I'm saying? But you can, when you can like remove the noise around you, it's a different type of meditation that you're able to, like we brought on the lesson last week when we were speaking on that little silent voice, you know, being able to hear that quiet voice. And I think we're missing that. And that's the parts that we're missing, I believe.
That's right. And I totally agree with you. Totally agree. One thing that you should remember, family, is like it was being brought just a moment ago. When you're hearing all those things around you, you can also own in your meditation by focusing on one thing that you hear around you. Just focus your attention on that one thing, or don't listen to nothing at all. It's harder. You have to be more disciplined not to hear anything in the midst of chaos. If you can get to that level, great. But if you can't, and your people around you and things are going around you, focus on one of those sounds and block out everything else, and allow yourself to focus on that one sound where you hear just that one thing over and over and over, and nothing else around you. And that also helps you to go into a deeper state of meditation. So yes, you're absolutely right, Nasik. These are the type of things we have to focus on.
I brought out Matthias says, Shabbat Shalom, beloved Mishpachah. Thought about for bringing out so much about prayer and knowing who we are praying to. Much love to all.
Same to you, Abba. Thank you very much, Abba. May the Most High be praised. To the Rabbah.
Zakena Sakari says, so many of my maternal family members have gone and 2 are left. We have been observing last rites in a memorial site. It is nature that reminds us of the Most High giving our reverence. Toda Rabbah.
May the Most High be praised.
Ab said again, brought forth another message saying, Toda also for this platform, as it is a great study tool to be able to listen again to great teaching, to catch what you may have missed the first time.
Oh, we thank you for the compliment, Abba. Thank you for the compliment. May the Most High be praised. To the Rabbah. To the Rabbah. All right, family. If there's no more, we're going to close it out now. Creator willing, we see you all back here at 4 o'clock today. May the Most High be with you all. We take this time now and go eat. But now remember, y'all, today is a Shabbat. You shouldn't be cooking no food. Don't be warming up no food. Talk about you ain't cooking it. Don't throw it in no microwave. Don't throw it in no fire, no oven, no stove, nothing. Don't throw it on a radiator and say it's heating up on a radiator. You shouldn't be cooking any food. You shouldn't be heating up any food. Any of those things you shouldn't be doing. You should have already prepared your food the day before. So go get your cold cuts or whatever you're going to eat, your lettuce and tomato sandwiches or whatever you're going to eat. And we'll see you back at 4 o'clock. Get your rest, get your sleep, because we got a lot of juice coming at you at 4 o'clock. Very, very interesting class today at 4. May the Most High be with you all. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.